tell you you're the queen of my heart. Please don't deceive me when I hurt you. Just say it the way it seems. Can you feel my love buzz? Can you feel my love buzz? Can you feel my love buzz? Can you feel my love buzz?
Here is a mesmerizing display of volcanic lightning during an eruption in the Philippines in 2020.
A friendly rhinoceros passes through a village.
The waters of Australia's Lake Hillier are bubblegum pink due to a mixture of bacteria and algae, and the great thing is, it's totally safe to swim in.
Orcas in Alaska come to say hi.
Oh, dude! Whoa, dude! Mouth shut. Oh my god, you guys. Whoa! Oh my god!
The incredible sight of a cave being illuminated by millions of glowworms.
This is after the meat, though. Come on. Where's my girl, huh? Where's my girl, huh? So she knew. Ito ang ni. Ito. Hindi siya nidang niyo dyan eh. Hindi siya nidang niyo dyan dyan. Nih. Luar biasa kok bisa ya? Kok bisa ya?
Oh my gosh, I just fed a moose. This is insane.
That's crazy.
I want to pet him. Yeah, you like that, Steve?
Yeah.
It's yummy,
Good
yeah.
job.
You like it, Steve?
Real Alaska adventures. Eat your heart out, Sarah Palin.
We're gonna share. We're gonna share.
She's fine.
You want some, Steve?
You ready?
Is it on camcorder?
No, it's on picture.
Where's my phone?
right, good morning, my beauties and bees, and welcome to another installment of Live from the Hive. I'm your host, Miss Bumblebee, and today we are in 2026. It's the third day of the new year. Hey, Purple. Did I put a command for you in? I don't remember if I did or not. If I did, I'll key it. I think you've had a command before, but I've had to reboot BugBot and redo all the things so many times that no, I don't think it's on here anymore. Yeah, we'll add it though. We'll add a link for purple. For purple rhymes with orange. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Can you feel my love buzz? I'm actually kind of somber this morning. I'll tell you what's going on. I'm from a little town in the Midwest. I'm not gonna go into all the details about where it's located and whatnot, but recently, somebody from my little hometown made it famous on TikTok. Let's see, and I am super disappointed. Is this the one? Yeah. So this guy's not from my hometown. This guy's just a TikToker. He's gay and fabulous and does fabulous things and dresses fabulous. Neither here nor there. Let me show you what happened to this young man when he went in to use the bathroom. Oh, hold on. I got to get some audio for you. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, take a fucking picture of me. I'll take a video. Say what you're just saying. Yeah. I don't like a dude with fucking... Yeah, show your face. Show your face.
Now, the darker haired kid is from my little hometown. Where unironically, one of my siblings has been raging at me for painting the people of the town as phobic, invasive, cruel weirdos to queer people, because my sibling didn't experience that because they aren't queer. So
fucking pearls on his eyes. Yeah, I don't like this shit. In a men's bathroom, showing your fucking chest like a girl. Like a fucking girl, dressed like a girl, fucking belly button, fucking rings like a girl. You know why too?
Bro looks fucking fabulous. This is the yum, absolutely yum. I think that's part of the problem, is that he's so yum and it makes this dude uncomfortable. That's what I think. I think that our young friend was feeling a stirring, and it made him, and he's lashing out because he doesn't want to feel that stirring.
I used the stall because I didn't want any fucking problems.
Because you're a fucking bitch. You're a fucking girl.
And the thing is,
girl so bad.
they don't want transgender women. I'm not transgender, by the way, but they don't want transgender women to use the women's bathroom. They don't want gay men to use the men's bathroom. I guess I'll just piss on the floor.
Why don't you just go to the girls' bathroom?
Because I'm a fucking boy.
Exactly. So why you dress like this? You got followers? Come on, let me get in this shit.
Gotta get your monetization, slay queen.
Yeah, take a fucking picture of me.
I'll take a video.
Yeah, this guy right here, representing my hometown in the Midwest. And the people in the town are just like this. You can go to the community page, and they're all up in arms about people dragging this kid and his family's business because of this shit. They're feeling bad for this guy because he's getting dragged by the blonde guy. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. So this is the world that I'm living in now. It's just everywhere I turn, fucking bigotry. This is why I fled my home. This is why I fled the place I live. This is why I'm here out west. And fucking, I'm still struggling, but this is why I'm here. This is why I had to leave my livelihood behind. Because this is what I'm dealing with in my hometown. And the people that live there will gaslight you. Even the allies will gaslight you and tell you it's not happening. That wasn't transphobic. You're just going to have to toughen up, get thicker skin. People around here are going to be like that. That's what I hear constantly from these chuds that live in rural Missouri. It's like, oh, you could just suck it up and deal with it. No, I had to run away. The abuse that I received from the community I grew up with was unreal. But I'm beginning to think that it exists everywhere. I'm beginning to think that, like, even all you people out there who like are just one bad, we're 1 second away from calling me a man in a wig. You know, like I don't know. It just seems that way. It seems like on the snap of a finger, I say something you don't like. I lose my womanhood in your eyes, right? I lose my humanity, because the only type of human I am is a woman, so I lose my humanity too. Yeah, well, I mean, Lil, and I get that. Everybody says that to me. Everybody says, I have your back. No, absolutely, ride or die. But is it a farce? Is it a game? This is my real life. I spend 3 hours a day with you all, right? Having fun, talking about cryptozoology, talking about woo and science, and having some fun, having a fun Saturday morning with you guys. I love it. It's my favorite part of the week. Absolutely, my favorite thing that I do consistently is this show. Because I built this community because I came from the community of this asshole on the screen is. That's the community I came from. So I built this community while I was still trapped there. Still very much in the closet. And seeing a reflection looking back at me of where I came from. Seeing this poor kid getting hassled by someone from my community that I grew up in. So yeah, I created this community as an escape. This is where I go to get away, and just 3 hours on Saturday morning with you guys. I love it. Again, my favorite part of the week. But yeah, just finding out that a big chunk of my community is like just, I don't know, I want to say what, faking it. And ready to turn their back on me? Yeah. I'm a little hurt. I'm very hurt, actually. Not a little hurt, I'm very hurt. Just putting that out there. I don't want to dwell on this too much, but this came up on my feed. I shared this, didn't even realize who this person was, and then somebody from my town, and it's not a big town, somebody from my town was like, yeah, this is so and so from here, and I'm like, oh shit, it is somebody from there, and I go to the community page to see what people are saying about it, and it's all freaking apologetics. It's all focusing in on the victim being harassed here for pulling out a camera because he thought he was going to get assaulted. And these same people will flip the script That's exactly, Sandy. This is it's not a trans or even a gay man problem. It's something that affects women, cis women, across the board. It affects queer women and this toxic behavior, this culture that springs up in these isolated communities is horrid. All right, but I'm not going to focus on this right now. I mean, this is something that came up. I just wanted to bring this up to kind of show you, you know, where I come from. This is how people act. Oh my gosh! And you see this person here? You can just see their Sam part. Oh my gosh! I gotta tell you guys. I've been seeing someone. We've been on 4 or 5 dates. Shopping, and I mean, we started going on dates as like friends and stuff, but yeah, it's been getting a little closer, and she's really sweet to me, and she opens the doors for me, and it's just so nice. But that was her messaging me. But I'm not gonna dox her and put her on the screen. I didn't even want that much of her message to show. It popped up because this was on my Facebook feed. But yeah, we've been just. I'm trying to be move a little slow here, but yeah, I get butterflies. But we'll see how it goes. So I've dated a few people over the last couple of years. And a few trans girls too. I've actually dated 2 other trans girls since I've been down here, but none of it was ever enough for me to tell you guys about. So that just shows you where I am on this one. Yeah, slow is great. I just try not to overwhelm myself with too much with everything else that's going on right now. And yeah. So good morning. Yeah, see how I'm an emotional roller coaster this morning. I'm like, you know what, this is happening and I'm sad about it, and I'm gonna get all teary eyed, and now I'm like, also this is happening and I'm all and then this is happening and I'm like this. You all ready to look at the polls? And we're almost out of time for the polls at this point. I guess I should refresh the polls first. Also, I liked this meme. Roses are red, lamps attract moths. Anton LaVey is just Ayn Rand for goth. And I say that as a fucking goth, and not a LaVey fan either. I mean, I know LaVey and I'm like familiar with his work and stuff, but no, I don't have any loyalty to the Church of Satan. I guess LaVey's the Church of Satan, right? Not the Satanic Temple. Yeah. Anyway, polls. Here we go. All right, so this week in weird, which will be later in the show, so you got to stick around to catch this part. This week in weird, we are doing Unleash the Golem. And if you like mysticism and like Kabbalah stuff and all that, this is our first time really dabbling in that too much. I've always been sort of standoffish about the Kabbalah stuff because I don't know a lot about it, but I do know a lot about golems in pop culture. So I was like, let's see where that comes from. Goth girls unite, absolutely. How many rings are you wearing? I got 4 and then one that's a tattoo. That's how you tell your goth rank, is how many rings you wear. So right, because though his Satanic Bible isn't the worst holy book I've read. Yeah, well, some of the Satanic, I mostly like their tenets. Their tenets are good by me. I wouldn't mind participating in a Satanic temple, or sorry, I guess it'd still be a temple if I felt comfortable there. but I would also participate in any other kind of secular religious activity. I sort of consider myself a little bit of like an atheo-pagan person. Like, I like to personify the energies of the earth or whatever, you know, energy is used loosely. I like to personify them though, because it makes me able to conceptualize them better and have more compassion for the functions in the world. So yeah, I mean, but I understand there's nothing supernatural there, but I'm able to trick my brain into responding the way I need it to by engaging that way. Anyway, but yeah, back to the polls. You distracted me, getting me back to talking about religion and Satan and stuff. We also still have on the polls, though, we got Mastering Hydrokinesis, Zinghi and the Lost Dragon Fleet, which, did they discover the New World? Did they land in Mesoamerica? That'd be crazy, right? And then we're going to be adding a new one. We had the metaphysics. This one was winning for most of the week. I was ready to cover this topic because it was winning so hard. Metaphysics of the Magic Lantern. That one's going to be a lot of reading for me, but it's going to be a fun one. So you'll be able to vote on between those three and then a new one that'll pop up on here. So you got to participate in the polls if you want to participate with the show, because you make a difference. See, we're not getting, I mean, we generally don't get but a few dozen votes at the most. Usually, between 15 and 30 or so. Every now and then we'll get a few hundred because I'll do a topic that'll hit an algorithm. But it's low enough voting numbers that you as an individual can make a difference on these polls. So just keep that in mind as you come out here and vote. You will actually, your vote actually has power here, and there's no electoral college. Now, as for Cryptic Corner, which we'll be rolling into here in just a minute, we got giant great white sharks coming up. And these aren't, I'm not just talking like, big great white sharks. I'm not talking about Megalodon either. I specifically looked for videos that avoided the topic of Megalodon. So, boom, there it is. But we still have Amityville reprised on the menu, which was, I think it's been on here the longest at this point. It was our ghost topic, essentially. But you can come out and vote for it. And we're gonna tear apart the Warren investigation and look at the book and everything. It's gonna be fun. We also got Gnomes of Argentina. Now, I was calling them by their indigenous name, but no one was voting for it because I guess they were like, what the hell is that? So I updated it and updated the image so you knew exactly what I was talking about, it was the phenomenon that I was talking about, and it got 25% of the vote, which is pretty substantial. Now, the new kid on the block was the Pale Crawler, sometimes called a rake. But they didn't get any votes this week. The 12 people who voted on the polls didn't vote for the Pale Crawler. So if you want a Pale Crawler, you're going to have to come in here and do it yourself. You're going to have to come in here and vote for that mofo on your own, because no one's doing it for you. You have to engage in the democratic process of the Hive in order to see what we cover. Obviously now I'm the queen of the Hive, so I picked my bestiary because it's my bestiary, not yours. And this week we're talking about Wolverines. I found a really goofy video about them, and I want to have fun. All right, so with that said and done, I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll see you all over in Cryptic Corner in just a moment.
To eat my neighbors. You think I like size it up, gonna haul him up that chain, chop his ass up, size it up, gonna haul him up that chain, chop, 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 chop. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I'll barbecue your ass. I will cook your ass up so fast, and I'll tell them, I killed a cow out back, baby. You think chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. That's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first. I swear to God, if it's the last thing I do, I'm gonna get my hands around your throat.
All right, hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome to another installment of Cryptic Corner, where we explore the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the mysterious, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. I'm your host, Miss Bumblebee, and I like sharks. I'm like, I remember, like, even like looking back at my childhood, because Shark Week being in the middle of summer, right? And like I think it was in August, mid-August at the time. And I remember being like laying out on the trampoline with my girl and stuff, and we were like all kissy and stuff. But Shark Week came on. Sorry, babe, gotta go. And I skedaddle inside and go watch Shark Week. And that's how I lost my first girlfriend. I'm not even joking. That is a true story. Like, I gotta go watch Shark Week. It's this. I don't remember what the episode was about. It was something that was like very important to me. I think it was about this. I think it was about the Seal Island in South Africa. Now, so let me pull this over because we're gonna go to Seal Island in South Africa because this is where the legend of the great white monster shark begins for me. It's right here in False Bay's Seal Island. Now, we are way down at the bottom tip of Africa. And these temperate southern waters are perfect for great whites. And it goes all the way around the planet, like circumnavigates the planet. But False Bay is just south of Cape Town, right? It's got this little peninsula, the Cape Peninsula. Because the real Cape of Africa is this right here. That's why this is called the False Cape. And this is Cape Horn down here. Yeah, this one's Cape Horn, and this is the False Cape. Because people, when they come around, they'll be like, oh, here's the Cape, the African Cape. And then they loop up and end up in False Bay because it's goes nowhere, and that's how it got its name. Like, it's a real bay, right? It's a real bay. The reason it's called False Bay is because it's not the bay around the horn. So, like, if you when you round this horn, you can loop up and hug the coast. But if you round this horn and loop up and hug the coast, you ram into this other smaller cape. But I digress. We're not here to talk about geography. We're here to talk about great white sharks. And one place great white sharks love is South Africa. The other place is over here in Australia. Giant sharks galore down here. And we're going to get to it all. But they just circumnavigate the planet. Actually don't hear any much about great white sharks in South America. But I don't think they're in love with this bottleneck. It's too cold, probably. But by the time it gets out here, you got Atlantic waters hugging into warmer Atlantic waters coming from the equatorial. Again, I'm talking about geography, but it's kind of important for if you understand great white sharks. They live in like this belt that stays mostly away from the tropics. Like up here in the equatorial region, it stays mostly away from. They stay mostly away from that, and they like cooler waters. That's why when you look at great white attacks in North America on the East Coast, they're mostly up in the Mid-Atlantic region, and on the West Coast, it's like Northern California, mid to Northern California, I guess I should say. This area here, where the Pacific waters are colder. Even SoCal has cooler waters because of the way the Pacific current flows. So even all the way down to like Santa Monica, great white sharks galore. But we're going to start in Africa. We're going to start on Seal Island because this is where Shark Week introduced me to the submarine. But I'm not going to do it all by myself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go along on a journey with this guy. His name's Michael J. He's very Australian. But yeah, his YouTube channel is not specifically about sharks. There's other stuff, storms and all kinds of helicopter stuff. But he has a lot of stuff about great white sharks. And a lot of them are about giant great white sharks. So I curated my own playlist of his content covering the topic of giant great white sharks specifically, and we're just going to go through it. And since it's starting here, I guess I need to go back to the map real quick just for a second, because it looks like we're starting with the Black Demon. I thought we were starting with the submarine. Let's start with the submarine, yeah. Let's do that. And then we'll move on to Black Demon, and I'll go to that part on the map. All right, let's go. Hold on. I got to get the audio set up, bro. Don't start talking yet. All right, here we go.
G'day guys, and welcome to Primal Waters. Today we're going to do part 3 of monster shark locations. The first 2 parts were focused on Australia. Today we're going to have a look at South Africa and the Legend of Submarine and have a look at that location as well. Make sure you go check out my other videos as well. I think part 1...
And yeah, it's going to focus on the maps too, but I love maps. Yeah, they love the Cali Coast too, absolutely. Yeah, let me. It doesn't do. Why is it? It's supposed to have a coffee cup. I guess there's no coffee cup. There's a coffee cup emoji, isn't there? Surely there is. Why did it be weird? Yeah, what's this one? There's actually a couple of them. Yeah. That's a new BugBot thing too.
About mega sharks in Western Australia kind of connects with what I'm going to be talking about.
Hey, native.
In South Africa. So we all know about the Legend of Submarine. This is a great white shark that probably about 30 to 40 years ago used to stalk the waters of False Bay, which is the lower part of Africa in South Africa. Here it is here.
I'm not sure what map system he's using. I like it though. Yeah. Little fishy hook.
Famous Seal Island, and where they cage dive for great whites. Now, a submarine was a great white shark that fishermen would say was around about 22 to 30 feet in length.
Yeah. So let me clarify before we get too far into this as well that for the most part, great white sharks are max out right around 20 foot. You know, a big female could potentially get longer, but there's been no accurately measured one. Now, people will say deep blue is like 22 feet long, but I've never seen any like scientific measurements on that. And yes, I say measure. I do. I say it wrong. don't come at me. I just do. Also, here, I found this cool map that shows kind of where they live. So, if you wanted to know what I meant by the temperate waters, you know, and they get vagrant on the coast of South America. But it's weird that they don't frequent South America. I think it's because of the way the currents flow. It has to be. Anyways, let's just pull up the wiki here. See, females average 15 to 16 foot, which is huge. It's a huge animal. They're estimated to reach close to 6.1 meters or 20 feet. But we'll have, like, on the page, because of how much discrepancy there is out there regarding the biggest great white shark ever caught. There's a whole, it has its own wiki page. So we're going to go there too. Because some of the ones we're looking at are going to be on this list. There's confirmed maximum size. You can see if you look at it, it always hovers right just under 20 feet. 19.1, 19.5. Reported specimens, 21 feet. But yeah, you get the unconfirmed records though. You get really crazy. You get like the Port Fairy, which we're gonna get to. Excuse me. Hold on, just a second. I need to cough. Oh yuck! That was a nasty one. I'm getting a little icky in my throat. But yeah, anything over 23 feet is, which, 6.9 meters, is sus to me. You got 23.4. Some of them are ludicrous. I mean, obviously, but they make a lot of claims about them. And again, this episode specifically is not about like megalodon, where you're talking like 60-foot sharks and stuff. This is about people claiming great white sharks between 23 and 35 feet, right? Specifically.
This was during the early 1970s and early 90s that this story of this shark. Now, we've seen the documentary.
Yes, I say measure. I'm from... Well, I don't think it's an accent thing. I do. I say measure. Measurement. Mm-hmm.
That Discovery put out there, the Shark of Darkness and stuff like that. We all know they're fake. I still like watching those Discovery ones. They're quite entertaining, but everyone should know that those documentaries are fake. They did that for entertainment.
The Discovery Channel
purposes
documentaries on Shark Week were fake, and I didn't know this when I was a kid. Keep that in mind. So I'm like, yeah, submarine's real. There's a 25 to 30 foot great white shark prowling this bay in South Africa, and I wanted to see her so much.
Which really hurt Discovery and Shark Week. I think they've gone away with doing documentaries like that, which is good. Still talk about legends of these type of sharks. That's still interesting. That's
I think the proper pronunciation is like measure, like meh, not may, measure. But it just doesn't come out of my mouth that way. I say measure, a measurement.
I do it for this channel because people are interested in stories and legends of giant great whites. Like I believe that these sharks are out there, but they're still fascinating. So if Discovery just got away with the fake documentary, but talked about legends and stuff and in search of and stuff, that'd be a lot better. But now submarine is a shark that terrorized fishermen in the early 70s to 90s. Now there is an actual interview by a fisherman.
And just to be clear, great white shark, the lesser white shark is the white tip. Sometimes people call a poor beagle a lesser white shark, though, and poor beagles look like a domesticated great white shark. Let me show you. like what would happen to a great white shark under domesticated circumstances. Trying to find a good picture of it. It's, like a poor beagle is to a great white shark as a dog is to a wolf. Like look at that big old eyes, shortened snoot, gangly teeth. It's the domesticated. It's like the pug of great whites. It's cute. It is definitely cute. And well, my opinion of cute is different than everybody else. I'm into like creepy crawlies and stuff, but it's cute to me. Where were we?
Which I will link in the in the description channel down below. I guess that's probably the best encounter story that you're gonna actually watch. I'll leave it up to you guys if you believe it or not, but the interview was done by a guy who runs a YouTube channel called White Shark Videos. Now that guy, he does fantastic videos on great whites, and I don't think he would put anything up there that he thought would be fake. So I'll link that in the description bar down below to go watch it out. It's quite a fascinating story. But just looking at False Bay here, it's massive. I didn't believe how big it was actually. So
it is. It's absolutely huge
there as well. And just to see how close Seal Island is.
I guess I can show you the stuff while he's
all these beaches here. I assume they're all major cities along here that everyone swims and surfs. That's probably why they've got a very high shark incident count in South Africa, especially having Seal Island so close.
Yeah.
At least in South Australia, where Neptune Island is actually quite far away from any beaches that people swim at. Probably.
I don't know. Are those? Excuse me. Let's go down and look. Let's look at those beaches, because we can actually get down there. Right by Seal Island too. Sunrise Beach right here. Oh yeah, there's some people like trackways right along the beach. Oh yeah, there's people. Definitely people. But there's a lot of fishermen standing out there past the breakers too. Like in hip deep water. That you can't see from here. Because this will be like shallow for like a mile out. Like shallow shifting sands, and fishermen will go out there and put their chair, go out past where the waves are crashing and put their chair down. You can't see Seal Island though. It's out there, but you can't see it. It's over the horizon. And there's some tide pools. Not the cool kind of tide pools like they have in Maine though. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice beach. Let's check another one. Come on, map. Map, fill in. There we go. Got Strand Beach over here. Ooh, it looks fancy. You got big old buildings and stuff. Can you get down on this beach? You can, but you can't like walk on it like that one. There's just the spots. Oh, we'll drop down on one. Ooh, pretty. Look at that. Gorgeous. And yeah, definitely a lot of people in the water at twilight when sharks are hunting too. Go figure. I don't see anybody too far out though. I think most of them are out of range of a great white shark. But that's a crowded beach. A lot of people. It's a beautiful beach too, but it's a crazy time to be there. This is like the prime hunting time for great white sharks. It's like twilight. So yeah, but that's even further from Seal Island. I guess that might be safer. What is this over here? This little bite is nice. We got Fish Hoke Beach. I guess that's how you pronounce that, Hoke. Oh, you can actually stand out in the water here. Look at that. Well, it looked like it was out in the water. Ooh, that's cool. They're like a hillside village. This so far, this looks like a place where I'd feel the safest swimming because it's so far dipped in. Excuse me, my throat's still kind of scratchy. No. All right. Where are you at, Malcolm? There we go.
Surfers are, but it's still out of the way. But just to have it so close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like I said, go watch that interview, and that's on White Shark videos, and the link will be down below. The Submarine Discovery Channel documentaries are fake. We know that. I still enjoy watching them. But Submarine is quite an interesting shark as well, and it kind of connects in with my part 1 of Australian large shark sightings locations. Now, a 30-foot great white shark, early 70s, kind of ties into the large shark spotted in Western Australia in the 70s, 80s as well. And if you have a look at the distance in between South Africa and
yeah,
Western
I'm kind of
Australia,
sad that we lost all of our giant great white sharks over the last 30 years.
8,000 k's away. Hopefully I got that right. So
you go down south more.
Yeah, so we've got False Bay down here, Submarine, the Legend of Submarine, 30-foot great white shark. And then we come all the way over here to Western Australia. And here we've got the Shark Alpha and the whaler stories of whalers seeing 30-foot great whites as well in the 70s.
We're going to get into that in
early
just a
70s
second.
as well. So
come on, get back over to Africa.
And we do know
we're going to watch your Australian video in a minute.
Great whites migrate. They go big distances, and it has been recorded before that sharks tagged in Western Australia also make their way over to South Africa as well. So
yeah, they migrate between these points, and they end up in up in here too, up in around Madagascar, and all these islands up here. So yeah, they migrate. With the big ones, end up down there.
There is a connection there.
Yeah.
70s, 30-foot shark. Don't know.
Google says hook sounds like hook. Thank you.
That
Jerry's like my onboard pronunciation guide.
Could be a shark that used to stalk the waters in Western Australia as well. And another thing is interesting. As well as that a lot of critics talk about why don't we see these sharks, and my argument to that is that in the early 70s or anyway a big shark like Submarine was probably a very old shark. We know that great whites can live up to the age of 70 years of age. Now, if they can reach that age, they would be a big shark. And I think most of the big shark sightings that have happened are old sharks. Now, I don't think Submarine is probably around anymore. I think Submarine would have been a fairly old shark.
I don't think Submarine is real.
I
think it's an urban legend.
Submarine was an old shark, and I don't think that Submarine's around today. But when they started overfishing and actually catching great white sharks and pretty much putting them into a stage of, I guess, nearly extinction.
I mean, that's with a lot of shark species too. Like, there aren't the numbers that there used to be. And nothing gets the size it used to be. That's like if you look at old whaling records of the size of the whales that they used to pull in, they're about 10 to 20% bigger. It's most noticeable in like a sperm whale, because bull sperm whales used to be around 80 foot long. Now they don't exceed 62 feet generally. It's crazy how much shorter they are, how much smaller they are. It's because the whalers would go for the big ones because that'd be the biggest haul. Go for the bull.
The big sharks were hunted and most of the smaller sharks never got didn't get the chance to grow to be a big shark. So that's why we don't see them around today. And another thing is that I think in the next 20 years, since great whites are protected in most countries, I think in the next 20 years will start seeing these big sharks again, and a lot more reports of.
I mean, we do have deep blue, and she's pretty big, but I think I would say deep blue is somewhere between 16 and 19 feet. Just my guess. She's huge.
Sharks over 6 to 7 meters in length. So, like I said, my argument is that big sharks were once around. They were hunted. Great whites were hunted, and the smaller sharks never got a chance to get to their full length. So there you go. And then you have a look at these islands that are dotted in between South Africa and Western Australia.
Yeah, like the samurai face crab, exactly.
Yeah. I assume that most of these islands here would have populations of seals or sea lions that are on these islands. Maybe these big sharks patrol these islands here, and maybe every now and then they might make their way to a mainland or something like that. But
I think that's probably going to be kind of cold, right?
Tons of islands dotted between South Africa and Western Australia that have no populations of people on there, and these sharks could patrol these waters. So it's just, this is something that I like talking about.
Like great whites are, at least to an extent, are mammal specialists. When they get big enough, anyway, they're mammal specialists. And they like to target seals and sea lions for seals. They do like whale carcasses too. But are they killing big whales? I mean, I know they get killed by killer whales or orcas. But
the possibilities. I know a lot of some people are critical about it, but look, have a look. The ocean's a big place. We can't think that we know everything that is out there.
But I wonder if these islands are too far south for a great white shark. That the waters would be too cold, because I mean, there's a difference between this Atlantic stream that's coming around the Horn of Africa and dipping up into the Indian Ocean, and the circumpolar vortex that swirls around down here. Right? I know it looks like it's all one thing, but there's different currents that flow here. There's a Atlantic to Indian Ocean current that flows up through here. Right, and the smaller. Oh, I kept trying to drag this map like it's my own. A smaller, like, actually, let me pull my map up. Because we are, yeah, and you can kind of see how the clouds roll where it flips, like, yeah. But this current's going to go up into here, and there's a smaller current that comes from the Indian into, what is this, the Tasman Sea, right here, of warmer water, which makes South Australia a lot more hospitable than it should be in this proximity to to Antarctica. But when you get down into these waters, it's frigid. And these islands that he's looking at here are all practically Arctic islands. I mean, you can see snow caps. Maybe Alfred's Failure in the Quezet Islands could be home to some sharks. Well, I'm not saying that there aren't great white sharks down here. I'm just saying it's more likely that they're traveling, like that they go kind of like bow up with the current it'd be easier too to ride that current across than to try to. Well, I guess they could drop into the circumpolar current, but that'd be frigid. I don't know. You tell me. Man, I'm way over here. There we go.
But there you go, guys. That's it for this video. Hopefully I haven't rambled on too long, but I just wanted to share that with you. There's not a lot on South Africa's submarine, but I hope that interview, hopefully the interview with the Witness 2 submarine is quite interesting for you. So, but
yeah, great white sharks orcas love great white shark liver. And great white shark livers are huge too. They're like, I mean, they can be like several hundreds of pounds of food for an orca. So they're like, hell yeah, I'll eat me some liver.
All right, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for tuning in. Drop a comment down below, hit that like button, share this video, and if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.
And yeah,
and welcome to Primal Waters.
And to be clear about that, sharks use their livers, well, cartilaginous fish in general use their livers as swim bladders. Our ancestors used our lungs actually evolved into swim bladder, or from swim bladders, which is what other fish used. So yeah, you breathe with your swim bladders now, but sharks use their liver for it, for buoyancy.
Now we're going to have a look at another news article that was released in January this year, and this is the actual first time coming across this. Now this is a topic I've talked about in the past. It's about the
bigger than Megalodon. What? That's a crazy headline. No, the black demon, if it's a real shark, is reported as a large great white, as far as I know.
Demon, and that's a legendary shark that stalked the waters in Baja Peninsula, or California waters. It's a legendary, meant to be maybe a giant great white, or...
And it's funny because they say California waters, and you got to remember they're not talking about California waters. They're talking about California waters, Baja, down here. This is the stomping ground of the black demon, the Sea of Cortez. Yeah. Gulf of California, Sea of Cortez. That is where the great white or the black demon great white is alleged to be.
On shark. So we'll have a read of this story. Now if you want to check this out for yourself, I'll put the link in the description bar down below. There is a video as well. Now there is a YouTube video out there. I think it was part of Discovery Channel Shark Week, but there's plenty of stories about the black demon as well. So, but we'll have a quick first read of this. The black demon, experts probe shark bigger than Megalodon lurking in California waters. Scientists have looked into the possibility.
That's a sensational headline.
Of a shark bigger than the prehistoric Megalodon could be hiding in California waters, according to a bombshell documentary. The Megalodon is an extinct species of shark that lived approximately 2.3 to 2.6 million years ago. I think it going by some of the fossils of its teeth dates all the way back to, I think, around about 22 million.
You said great white, and you keep talking about Megalodon. I know all about Megalodon. We've done videos on Megalodon. We've done Megalodon. We've done red Megalodon. We've done Marianas Trench Megalodon. We're here to talk about great white sharks.
Years ago, it's around about the Miocene Pliocene era. Would be truly amazing to be actually, if you could have a time machine and go back and see what the waters and you know what that area would have been like back then. would have been pretty scary. I think it was the time of the mega animals, large animals that roamed the earth, other than the dinosaurs.
He's trying to find the word megafauna. There's still megafauna today, though. Whales are megafauna. Whales are the most megafauna ever, like, that we know of. There's never been any more megafauna than whales swim in the oceans.
We'll continue reading on. So where are we? During the early Miocene era, scientists suggest that Megalodon looked like a stockier version of the great white shark.
Hold on, what year was this? Because they don't think that anymore. This has been 6 years ago, but I think we're mostly steering away from the giant great white depiction of Megalodon at the time. I mean, now since the Meg movie came out, everybody thinks about great white sharks when they think of a Megalodon. But
that's probably one of my favorite theories about the Megalodon looking like a bulked up version of a white shark. I read a lot of Steve Alton's novels about the Meg, and in his version of the novel, it's described as being a bulked up version of a great white. I kind of like that description of the shark, what the Megalodon may have looked like. I think a lot of
I disagree with it. I don't think that there's any reason to think that megatooth sharks looked like great white sharks. They could have looked like tiger sharks, and they could have looked like mako sharks. They could have looked like I don't know, whaler. It's hard to say because all we have is teeth and some fragments of a jaw. We don't know much about their structure. I think we have some vertebrae too. We might have some vertebrae.
Go because how the teeth look familiar with each other. But some people have said, and I've read articles before about that the Megalodon could have looked something like a sand tiger shark or something like a whale shark as well. Just the way their bodies are look like. So quite interesting. But I like the bulked up version of a great white. It just sounds a lot better.
I get that that's what people will want, right? I get that that's what the world will desire the Megalodon to look like as a great white shark, but I just don't. I don't think that the science pans out on that. I just don't think that that's what the math out to.
White shark and fossils remains reveal it reached lengths of 18 meters, 59 feet, with an average size being 10.5 meters, 34 feet. However, an even bigger and more terrifying shark may have existed, according to a new mini documentary. Now, I actually like the size. I think 18 meters or around 60 feet is probably a lot that we've heard in the past about how the Meg was. But I like the size they give us. I think more kind of looking at now is around about 10.5 meters, around about 34 feet. I like that size because if you look at some stories that I've talked about in the past about sightings of...
Oh yeah, I believe Megalodon was easily 10 meters long, 10.5 meters. I believe Megalodon was probably easily 11 meters long. I'm okay with that. I don't know about some of the crazier estimates. And again, the size of Megalodon, because they've restructured the body size to be less of a tank like a great white and more of a streamlined animal. They've increased the estimated length of Megalodon quite a bit in recent years. Here I am talking about Megalodon again. Get to the great white.
Sharks, the 10.5 or 34 foot sightings of sharks sounds kind of what people are seeing out there. However, an even bigger, more terrifying shark may have existed, according to a new mini documentary. The top man 2.0.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get out your conversion tables because a lot of this is going to be in meters because this guy's Australian. So if you got a math, you got a math. I don't want a math on a Saturday either, but I'm pretty good at discerning meters. So at least there's that. The main thing I remember is that 10 meters is 32 feet. And I kind of use that as a scale for everything. Like every 10 meters is additional 32 feet. I can remember that in my head without having to do any kind of math other than basic addition of, 32 plus 32 is 64. So a 20-meter great white shark is 64 feet, right? Just so that's how I do it. You can cut it in half and whatnot.
Posted their new series, The Black Demon, on their YouTube channel in September 2008, claiming the huge creature inhabits the coast of California, US. Now we'll just have a look on the Google Maps here, and as you can see, this is
not the US.
The Gulf of California, or the part
that's Mexico. Hey, let's not overlook this border here. This yellow line that runs from here all the way down. Whoop, 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 whoop. That's the border of the U.S. and Mexico. This is Mexico. There's part of California in the U.S. and part of California in Mexico. The parts of California that the black demon stalks are in the Mexican part, not the U.S.
Or the Sea of Cortez. This stretch of water here in Mexico. We've got North America. Now, I have seen a documentary where they talk about the black demon being spotted in these waters through.
Yeah, I think meters are better too. My brain just never learned them, is the thing. I prefer meters as a system, but my brain's not good at it. That's why I can that's the best way I can describe understanding personal bias too, right? Like my bias is that I learned English system, even though a foot is a really weird unit of measurement. My brain knows how to process that and visualize that because that's what I grew up with. Now, meters are, I think, in every conceivable way a superior system. My brain just doesn't do it right, and I accept that. I accept that I'm bad at using that system, but I've come up with tricks to help me. I'm actually good with centimeters because all the insect stuff and all the spider stuff. But a good if you want to know, like 30 centimeters is a foot. That's easy to remember, right? And then anything else can be calculated from that. Like everything down inside of that is easy for me.
Here as well. Another interesting thing is I've also seen a documentary where they study the migration of great whites, and they found that female white sharks tend to return to where they were born to give birth to their pups, and the Baja Peninsula or Sea of Cortez or Gulf of California is actually a white shark nursery up around this area here as well. And if you look into your
my understanding is this is the Gulf. Let's look at the map is the Gulf of California and the Sea of Cortez the same, like geographically? So yeah, they're the same body of water. They're not geographically distinct. So this is also the Sea of Cortez, the Gulf of California. And I actually have this marked for Black Demon. This was the Black Demon spot sighted. Couldn't remember if this down here was what they called the Sea of Cortez and this was the Gulf up here or something. But yeah, nope, it's the same body of water. Beautiful body of water.
Information about megalodons, where their breeding areas were, is the same location as well, which is quite interesting as well. So there you have it. We'll go back to the article. According to the video, several fishermen in the Pacific Ocean have recorded first-hand experiences with the apparent beast. Hundreds of whales have been... Yeah, I don't know about the hundreds of whales being found signs of being attacked, because I haven't heard that. You think something like that?
That's one of the things about giant great white sharks that comes up too, is that they're like, oh, well, there was this bite mark on this whale that was huge. And I don't think that, hey, a whale can get bit when it's little, and as it grows, the scar grows too, making it look like something bigger bit it than what it actually did.
Something that would make the news, and you would probably find a lot more articles about that. Some fishermen have claimed to survive the encounters with a giant black creature with huge, sharp teeth. There have been hundreds of sightings of the shark.
I was the creature with the sharp teeth.
Near Baja.
If I don't get some dental insurance soon, I'm going to end up with sharp teeth or gnarled teeth.
California, Mexico, local fishermen saw huge shadows under the water, and their claims are being investigated.
I do not generally like pickles. There's very few dishes that I'll enjoy a pickle on. I enjoy pickles on a burger, on a Chicago dog. I don't like pickles in my potato salad. I generally don't like pickle. Sometimes the mood will hit me to eat a single pickle, but very rarely. I'm not like, I don't seek it out. Like, if like I order a sandwich and it comes with a pickle, I'll eat the pickle. But sometimes I'll give the pickle to my friends. So if you're with me and we're hanging out, sometimes you get my pickle. So that's one of the benefits of being friends with me, is that I may, unless a very, very specific flavor is needed to make my meal enjoyable, I may very well give you my pickle. Just keep that in mind when we hang out, Purple and Ember. Yeah. Y'all want my pickle? You're going to get it. At least the majority of the time.
By scientists across the globe, the story is now attracting the attention of task force and TV channels hoping to get a snap. However, there is no concrete evidence Black Demon exists, with these testimonies being the most current available. Despite this, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration (NOAA) has previously admitted it's hard to rule out the possibility of many claims in the water.
And if anybody's wondering why I keep wiggling my mouth, it's because I'm having horse face dysphoria this morning. I don't know why, but I'm like, ugh, my lower jaw looks huge. I don't know if it's the camera angle or what, but it's like making me self-conscious. So that's why I keep going, trying to figure out why my mouth area is bothering me so much right now. It's just dysphoria, though. I know it's like in my head.
How as much as 25% of the world's ocean and 99% of the ocean floor remains unexplored. Visiting these regions deep below the ocean surface is difficult. And
that probably doesn't include the highly trafficked region of the Gulf of the Gulf of California. I doubt. When you talk about how much of the ocean is unexplored, they're talking about like the mid-Atlantic and the Pacific trenches and things like that, not like inland seas where there's been trade for thousands of years. And people have been back and forth and hit every seamount on the way and dropped their nets and their lobster cages and everything in every square foot of the sea. It's like that's like saying, there could be giant squid in the Mediterranean because only 94% of the world's oceans are explored, and then being like, yeah, but that's not the Mediterranean, right? Now, a bigger body of water, a bigger Gulf, like say the Gulf of Mexico, yeah, you can make that argument. This is largely unexplored here. But like, look, you can see like a good rule of thumb is like the light blue areas are the areas that are exempt from that 90. They're the exception. They're the 5% or whatever, right? The light blue areas. That rule might not hold so true up here, obviously, because it's coastal waters. But yeah, coastal waters tend to be the explored part, not included.
consuming and expensive. So there you go. So it's quite fascinating how much the ocean is still
So they're showing like a beaching event here and saying all these whales are being attacked, but they're beaching themselves, and we're not sure why, what causes the beaching. There's lots of theories on why whales do this as pods, as entire pods up on the beach, and sometimes it's that the noise pollution is a big one that people talk about a lot.
Unfamiliar with us or unexplored. Who knows what creatures lurk in the depths? But I always find this story quite fascinating. The Black Demon, legend of the Black Demon, a giant shark that lurks the waters of California and the Gulf of California, or is it the Baja Peninsula? Is that this part, or the Sea of Cortez? So very interesting there. So like I said, I will provide the link for this story down below.
Look at those jaws, though. Great white sharks have amazing freaking teeth. Look at that. And there's just rows and rows behind there. When those get knocked out, new ones replace them.
There is a video to watch here as well. Just gives you a bit of an insight into the Black Demon. I also know there is a YouTube video I have watched on it.
And this is pre-COVID YouTube, so it was a different world back then, different type of content.
Documentary. So if I can find that, I'll link that down below as well, so you can have a watch for yourself. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you drop a comment down below, hit that like button, share this video, and if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. G'day guys, and welcome to Primal Waters.
Yeah, this was the ones I had originally started with, but I switched it because we had just gotten done talking about submarine.
Today we're going to have a look at some locations around Australia of reports and stories of large great white shark sightings that have
ridiculously large great white sharks. Let's keep that in mind.
Now, when I talk about large, I'm talking about the guides that are between 7 to 10 meters in length. Now, these reports date back nearly 100 years, and today we're going to have a look at 4 of those. There's a few more dotted around Australia, which I'll talk about in another video, and then I'll have a look at other locations around the world as well. But it seems Australia has a lot of stories of fishermen encountering these sharks.
I'm glad you recognize it's dysphoria and in your head, because from a subjective, objective point of view, I'm quite into the Uma Thurman, Mia Wallace vibe. It's like, why spend time on that ink drawing, and why that poster on the wall for years when Brie was right there and I didn't even know. I actually did the Mia Wallace cosplay. It's been a minute, but let me see if I can pull it out. It's been a minute, so probably be on page. Okay, so there's that. There it is. Yeah, I did it with this same hair. So yeah, I tried. I did my best.
I'm not sure why. It might be due to the isolation of Australia and how big our waters and coastline is. But the southern parts of Australia, there's some really scary...
I guess the way the currents flow through this, what they call this, the Australian Bight, through the Australian Bight down here, carrying warm waters to the Tasman Sea.
3 stories of sharks that are really, really big. So we're going to take a look at 4 of these stories. And the first one is whaler stories.
Oh my gosh, Bugbot's on game right now, right, Ninja? Or you can call you Ninja or Jester, Ninja Jester, Ninjester. But yes, there is a more spicier versions of that cosplay on there too, if you wanted to see it.
Now, this is back in the mid-70s. Whalers from Albany would tell stories of their encounters with massive great white sharks, and two of those stories take place as this. I'll find this page. Giant sharks were also spotted by whalers during their risky ventures into the domain of the sperm whale. He looked down and saw what appeared to be another whale swimming up under the dead sperm whale. As it came closer, he realised that it was a white pointer, about 8.5 metres in length.
White pointer is another name for a great white shark, yeah.
Another story is, I returned to a whale carcass that had been forced to leave at White Crossing the night before. The crew spotted a flurry of white water near the whale, and on closer inspection found about 30 blue and white pointers sharks ferociously attacking the carcass. 6 of these sharks were about at least 9 metres in length. Now, the crewmen came to the conclusion...
9 meters. Remember the measurement process that we talked about earlier with doing the meters. So if 10 meters is 32 foot, so 9 meters would be, you drop 3 off that, it's going to be about 29 foot sharks is what they're claiming here.
These sharks were by the size of the sperm whale itself. The shark was about the same size as the sperm whale, so very scary. There was another chap by the name of Colin Austell. He was employed by the Department of Fisheries, and over the 7-year period, he would measure the bite marks off of these deceased whales, and some of these measurements would indicate...
Yeah, a meter is just short of a yard, and yards convert to feet, so that's why it's about 3 times... a meter is about 3 foot, but you lose a meter every 10 yards. But that's making it more complicated than it needs to be if you're just guesstimating.
The sharks were around about 8 to 9 metres in length. So that was the mid-70s. Now, Western Australia, these waters are home to the great white. Like, if you're going to find a big shark, these are the waters you're going to find them in. A lot of the other parts of the southern part of Australia are really isolated. Not a lot of people live. So they could be out there. Now we look at another story called Shark Alpha. Most of you guys would have heard about Shark Alpha. That was a shark that was tagged back in 2003 to about a 4-month period.
That's the one that got dragged, like got eaten and dragged down or whatever.
Tracked, and then she disappeared. Around about February, her tracking device, it was in January, her tracking device was found washed ashore, damaged, acid damage on the device itself. And when the scientists downloaded the information, it indicated that it was a period where the shark seemed to be chased. It dove down to about descended.
Oh, did I have it inverted when I said that? Yeah, invert that. Yards to meters reverses. Yeah. And that's why it's 32 and not, it doesn't lose it, it gains a little bit. Yeah. I had it inverted, the yards and feet. It's been a long time since I was doing conversion charts. Yeah. I had it inverted in my brain.
To about 580 meters. And then that's when things really got interesting. The temperature from the tag changed from 46 degrees Fahrenheit to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature remained at 78 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 days before it was dislodged and washed ashore. So the indication by the device is that something ate Shark Alpha, something very large. So
maybe an orca?
To this day,
orcas love delicious great white liver. We talked about that.
Still a lot of theories that what could have done that to Shark Alpha. the most obvious one is that it's another large grey white shark that ate shark alpha, and you just have to look at the stories that I've just told about whalers in the mid-70s of their encounters and eyewitness accounts of big white sharks in these waters as well, which is quite interesting. So then we move over to South Australia, and this one here I'm going to call Shark Bravo. Shark Bravo was a shark that was found early this year in March. It was quite interesting. Abalone diver near Flinders Island.
I wonder how many of these we're going to be able to get through, because we're about out of time for Cryptic Corner. We might have to do a part 2 of this and collect the rest of these up. Rest of them are pretty short, except for this last one. But yeah, I guess that's kind of how I expected this to go, get through 3 or 4 of them. I always overload it and just to make sure we have enough to cover. We're going to finish this video regardless. I just wondering if we had enough to do another one. We don't.
At Barge Reef, and where he came across the shark at the bottom of the water there. The shark itself was missing the whole rear section.
Yeah, absolutely, Jester. You call Purple out saying that she doesn't want to do no math, and then she's in here dropping equations into my side chat. What are you playing at, Purple? What is this game you're playing at?
Dorsal fin. It was a 12 to 13 foot shark, and something big came along and took a bite out of that shark as well. So you just have a look at the distances there. I actually Shark Alpha, Shark Bravo.
So that's what I like about this. Whatever he's using here is you can like drag the distance between 2 points. It also has like you saw that Brimmer Canyon and stuff. It has underwater features labeled, which is not something that you can do on my Google Maps. But I do have these places marked, or at least some of them. I thought I did. I swear I marked them last night. Must not have taken. That's disappointing. I have to go back through and do it again, but yeah, we're right in this area, right? And it does label the bodies of water, but you don't see like Brimmer Canyon or anything like that labeled on here. No way. So I do like whatever he's using here.
Between these areas is roughly around about I think I had it written down here. Bremer Canyon to Flinders Island is about 841 miles. So like I said, this whole area here is an area of big sharks, and if you're going to find a big shark, this is where you're going to find it.
The Great Australian Bite.
We'll move on to the 7-meter shark that was spotted in, I think it was 2009. So Life Saving Australia says a huge shark, 7-meter great white shark, was seen about 200 meters offshore at Merino Rocks. It's the biggest I've ever seen as a crew member in the Westpac chopper. We put it down to 7 meters. The photo really does not do it justice. So this is the actual photo here from the crew. Now they got the measurements for this one by comparing
7 meters. That's crazy. I don't think that's What are you using to pull that number that it's 7 meters long? I guess you could compare it to the boat, but morning, Brian. I guess you could compare it to the size of the boat, but 7 meters.
To one of their life-saving boats, and like you said, the photo itself doesn't give it justice on how big this shark was. A lot of people have downplayed this, saying, "Oh, how could they estimate the size of the shark?" Now these guys are experienced crew. Their job is to spot.
That's like being like, "Oh, it was an experienced pilot that saw the UFO, so that means that it's real." And it's like, Why do you think pilots are exempt from not understanding a UFO or an unidentified flying object or a light or a bird or whatever they're seeing? Why do you think they're exempt from that? That's such a weird claim to make. It's like someone said, oh, they're driving along and saw a Bigfoot on the side of the road, and like and they were an experienced driver, so that means that it was a real Bigfoot. It's like, what? No, that's not how that works.
Sharks, and I tend to believe him on the size of the shark as well. So I think this is 2009, but it might have been even early 2004, I reckon. So, but I do have videos of these stories that have taken place, of these 4. And today I just really wanted to show you the location, especially these waters here. There's a few other stories I can talk about in another video, but
I do gotta say though, a 7-meter shark is a lot more believable than the 9, 10, 11-meter sharks that they've been talking about.
Western Australia to South Australia, this part here is called the Great Australian Bight. This location, the coastline along here is very, very isolated. Not too many towns on here. So a lot of surfers surf out here as well, and there's been a lot of shark incidents that have taken place in these areas over the years as well. But I reckon if you're going to find a big shark, it's going to be these waters. And we've seen documentaries done, especially with Shark Alpha, where they've looked for the mega sharks.
Yeah, there's like
with that,
the Shark Alpha thing. I didn't realize that that's what it was going to be about. I thought it was a giant shark, but it's just like a big shark that got eaten by something bigger that some people speculated was a shark, but doesn't really make sense that it'd be a shark considering how deep that it dove. I would say some kind of diving whale, like a sperm whale, may have gotten it. That's my best guess. But orca also, the orcas don't necessarily dive as deep as a sperm whale, and this thing went deep, deep. So that's my speculation on it, is that it was a sperm whale, but could have been a few other sea animals as well.
It's a set with a budget, so they've only got a few days of filming, and it's like a needle in a haystack. The chances of you actually coming across one of these animals is probably really, really rare. To do this, you need a lot of money, a lot of time to actually stake out these waters to find these creatures. I believe they're out there. I think these big sharks are out there. I think they're probably small in numbers, and I think it's probably...
There are big sharks out there. I think when you say there's big sharks out there, it's 16 to 20 feet, though. I don't think it's 23 to 35 feet. I just don't.
A rare occasion where you might actually come up and actually see one of these sharks out there somewhere. So they're there, guys. Hopefully one day we'll actually get some proper video footage, but the closest thing we can come to at the moment is actually this picture here.
And again, a 7-meter shark, while impressive, that's like that is right at like 23 feet, is definitely more believable than than anything that's been presented so far. But I still don't believe in a 23-foot great white shark at this point. I'm suspicious of anything over 20 feet, more than a few inches over 20 feet. I'm suspicious of
a 7-meter one that was spotted a few years back as well. So that's probably the only best evidence we've got about these big sharks. And I know a lot of people out there say, "Nah, these."
So Purple's like, don't you be doing math in my Saturday morning cartoons? And now she's out here giving us story problems. If a great white shark left Spencer's Gulf going 34 miles an hour and swam in a straight line across the Great Australian Bight, how long would it take to reach the location of Shark Alpha? Giving me story problems out here. I love you, Purple.
Come on, guys. The ocean is a very big place. And like I said, just this area here alone, no one knows what's out there.
You know what sucks about having to stop here, though?
Got sharks.
You know what really sucks about the stop here is that we didn't do the Port Fairy shark, which is one of my favorite stories, but 11 right here. Well, it's only 4.5 minutes. We'll skip over this and do it real quick.
G'day guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about the Port Fairy shark that was caught back in the 1860s. Now Port Fairy is located off of Victoria on the southern coast of Australia. This is Great White Territory. Now this great white shark was captured back then, and the estimated size for this shark, or recorded size of this shark, was 11.3 meters, which is 37 feet. Now this is one of two sharks that made the Guinness Book of Records. The other one was the New Brunswick shark that was caught, I think, in the 1930s in Canada. So
yeah, the New Brunswick shark was actually a basking shark, so...
but I'll go into that shark in another video. Now the jaws for the shark, which you can actually see on this video right now, you can actually go see these jaws. They're actually at the Natural History Museum in London. So if you've seen them, let me know in the comment section down below. Now, like I said, the size for the shark was 11.3 meters, 37 feet. But in 1970, American John Rendell did a remeasurement of the shark using the technique they worked out by measuring the size of the jaws. And he classified the size of the shark to be around about 5 meters. But I have read that this calculation, or that the technique they use to get the size, is not 100% accurate, because
it's more accurate than any other system, though. That's like when they take out about radiocarbon dating. Oh yeah, but it's not, you know, it has flaws in it. It's like, yeah, but it's margin of error, but it's still a lot more accurate than anything else. But even if it was off, right, it would be off by, let's even give it a huge margin of error. Let's give it a meter in each direction. A huge margin of error. That's still a 6 meter shark, or a 4 meter shark, right? That's still, even if you open up the margin of error, it doesn't get anywhere near the claims that were made when it was caught.
Because you can get two sharks the same length, but the sizes of the jaws can be different sizes. So there's no real way we can actually find out how big this shark is. We've talked about stories in previous videos about shark sightings around Australia.
Well, we can get a good idea using the jaw measurement method.
That
measurement.
Sharks ranging from about 10 to 8 meters in length. Now, the possibility of a great white being around about 11.3 meters is, up to debate. Could be sharks out there. Back in the 1860s, there would have been such a large food source and animals, and no overfishing. These sharks would not have been caught to extinction. So,
now, this claim here, how tall are they saying this guy is? Let's see. Let's say he is, we'll even say he's 2 meters tall, right? Which is, not average at all. That's a huge dude. That's like a 6'5" dude. Let's say he's 6'5" though. So at the most, if you lay him sideways, and he's in the background too, the shark's closer to the camera than he is. If he's in the background, so at 2 meters, 6'5" guy, this shark is about 3 of him, right? So even if he's 6'5", this shark is only going to be 6 meters, which I don't believe he's 6'5", which is like less than 20 feet. So 8.5 meters, where's that number coming from? I guess the measurement of the boat that they're going with, but if you measure the guy, I don't know how long this boat is, but a human's not on average, not on average a 2 meters, right? We're like what was the average person, like 5'7", so that's 1.8 maybe, 1.1. Let's see, 1. Yeah, well, between it's like 1.75 or 1.7 between 1.75 and 1.8. Yeah, somewhere around there. But I'm being generous and saying this guy is 6'5", which still only gives us a 20-foot shark.
It's possible that back then these sharks could be that size. So yeah, it's a discussion we can have in the comment section down below. You know, there's always that debate that great whites maximum size is around about 6 meters in length. But if you can get a shark that can be healthy enough and live to their maximum age, I think around about 60 to 70 years age, there's a possibility that these sharks could get that length. But there's no evidence. But
I think, yeah, about 6 meters is a good max. 6 to 6.5 meters is how big I would say a fully mature, full-sized, maximum size for a great white. In modern times with, you know, modern physics and everything, is how I am willing to grant up to what's like not even 7 meters. Well, yeah, I'll grant it up to 7 meters with evidence. That's all I need.
I'm going to read out a quote here by Dr. Charlie Heveners of Flinders University. He's quoted this at, it's quite conceivable that sharks larger than the scientifically confirmed maximum size exist. As for most species, scientists are unlikely to have measured the largest individual of that species. So it could be a possibility. Alright guys, that's it for this video. We'll dive into the New Brunswick Canada great white shark. That was the second shark that made the Guinness Book of Records, but there's plenty of other sharks. There's the Kangaroo Island shark that
yeah, there are other sharks that we haven't even talked about yet.
Quite a big shark as well, which I don't.
But we're also at a time for Cryptic Corner. We're actually way over time. We're at 15 minutes over time, which is not like terrible. I'm not going to crunch or anything, but I do like to try to be consistent with the show and explaining other things more accurate. But we do have more videos to go through. We didn't even get to the second part of the Australian one. We skipped right over all these. There's these shorter videos down here too. There's a lot more. Oh, I'm talking about it. Not even showing you guys what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm just talking about this over here. We have a lot more to go through, but we're not going to do it today. We're going to wrap things up right now. So I guess watch the polls for a part 2 if you want to continue down this route. It'll probably be a while. Generally, I don't do a part 2 for at least a year, so just putting that out there. At some point, though, when I can't think of something to put on the poll, I'll go through and look at my old playlist I put together, like this giant great white shark playlist I put together, and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to do that one again. There's actually a sequel episode on right now on the poll for Cryptic Corner it's called Amityville Reprise. So you can vote on that. All right. So yeah, please remember to be kind, take care, and we'll see you next time. All right. Right. Okay. So live from the Hive audience. Don't go anywhere. The show is not over. Let's see. I'm sending someone a link. Hold on. And then we'll go to intermission. Don't leave, though. All right. So I will be back after just a brief moment. I'm going to refresh my coffee, I think. And then we'll be right back with some Weekend Weird. So stick around.
Koalas in the rain. Koalas in the rain. No fucks given. Koalas in the rain. No fucks given. Koalas in the rain. Koalas in the rain. No fucks given.
little thing was kicked out of the tree. You can come to our tree. Yeah, come to our tree. Poor little thing. There's plenty of trees. Come on. You're a meanie. All right, my beauties and bees, it is time for our weekly weirdness. Who is here for it? I know I am. Today, we're doing some mysticism, some Kabbalah magic. Are y'all familiar with Kabbalah magic? It's like a Jewish branch of like biblical sorcery, I guess is the best way to put it, but like not the Christian Bible, the Jewish Bible, I guess the Torah. But there's other books that are involved in in getting into Kabbalah too. But we're not going to get too deep into Kabbalah. We're just interested in one little aspect of it, and that is the Golem. Now, what is a Golem? And maybe some of you all have heard of golems in like fantasy and stuff like that, like in D&D or Diablo. I know the necromancer can summon a golem in Diablo. You can actually summon a clay golem, a blood golem, and an iron golem in Diablo. And the iron golem does thorns, which rejects or reflects damage back to the enemies. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're going to talk about the myth of the golem, and the best documented version of this myth comes from Prague. There's something called the Golem of Prague. So I found this channel. There's lots of channels with really crappy videos that were the right length that I was like looking like I was going to have to cover, and then I found this one, which was much better than anything else that I was able to pull up. But I mean they cover a lot of woo-woo stuff, so it's fun. You got like the Polynesian bat god and things like that. A lot of deities and stuff here, and cryptids too. So they like talk about a variety of mythological things. There's a unicorn video. We need to put unicorns on the poll at some point. They've only been going about a year though. But they had a pretty decent video on the Golem, and we are going to watch it. Not the Golem like this old black and white horror movie either. The Golem and the Jewish superhero.
In the narrow winding streets of 16th century Prague, a creature made of clay and mysticism once guarded the Jew.
Hold on.
In the
All right, so here we go. It started playing before I was ready.
narrow winding streets of 16th century Prague, a creature made of clay and mysticism once guarded the Jewish people, standing over 7 feet tall with immense strength and unwavering loyalty. This being was not born, but formed by human hands and divine words, a literal manifestation of the fears and pitfalls of European Jewry. The Golem was created to protect the Jews in times of peril. This is the Golem.
The word Jewry here is not used like the Fuentes crowd would use it now. It's it's a term that's sort of polysemous, but Jewry would have also been used to denote Kabbalic practices at this time, during this time period. That would have been a word that was used for it. I don't think that we should use that word for it. I think Kabbalah is fine. Even Jewish mysticism is fine, but yeah, calling it, because they use that word now for like conspiracy theory stuff, like, oh yeah, the New World Order is Jewry or something along those lines. So we're not going to use that word in here. I'm actually done saying it now. I don't like the way it tastes in my mouth. Even though I know it had other within the culture uses, but not for me. Yeah. Oh, you got to go? Okay, Queen Detroit Atheist. Thank you so much for hanging out, Kelly. Dark Lord Dash is my go-to for Diablo anything. Adam in Genesis was a dirt golem. That's true. He was made out of clay.
Of Prague, protector of the ghettos.
For generations, humans have been telling stories, tales, and legends about creatures found all around the world. From the griffin to the chupacabra, and from the leviathan to the Chinese dragon. It's high time we set out an adventure to learn about them all. This is an expedition for the mythological. Welcome to Mythos Safari.
Mythos Safari. How's that for a name? Kind of like CrypticCorner. Let's team up, Mythos Safari. Let's do some stuff together. Yeah, but the Groypers don't use it that way. I know it does sound like jewelry. I'm wearing jewelry right now. That's also probably part of my accent too, which is apparently so muddled that I say, "Can you measure that for me?" Let's get into some Golem.
Whose name in Hebrew, Golem, means shapeless mass or unformed substance, was not just another mythical beast in the tales of medieval Europe. It played a crucial role in Jewish folklore and the protection of Prague's Jewish community during the 16th century. Before we continue, subscribe and turn on the notifications to join our channel. It goes a long way to support us in creating more content about fascinating mythical creatures and legends from around the world. The concept of the Golem has its roots in ancient Jewish texts, including scripts from the Talmud and early mystical works within the Kabbalah. However, the most famous Golem story is associated with Rabbi Yehuda Lo ben Betzalel, also known as the Maharal of Prague, who allegedly...
I'm not going to attempt that name, especially since it's not written. Sorry. I know you all like to hear me try to pronounce stuff and think it's funny, but this one, I'm just worried that I'm almost worried that it come across as racist if I try to say that's the I'm going to do it. You know I'm going to do it. Rabbi Yehuda Lo Benin. That's not too bad. Rabbi Yehuda Lo Benin. I can say that. I can say that all day. I'm like Dory. 23 Wallaby Way. Sydney. Was it P. Sherman?
They created the Golem in the late 16th century to defend the Prague ghetto from anti-Semitic attacks. The Golem of Prague. Before we delve into the Golem, let's talk about 16th century Prague and the Jewish community. The city of Prague, part of the Holy Roman Empire, was a center of Jewish culture and learning. Under the rule of Emperor Rudolf II, Prague experienced a period of relative religious tolerance and was culturally flourishing during his reign. The emperor had a keen interest in occults and mysticisms, which created an atmosphere perfect for Kabbalistic studies from which a Jewish community could thrive. However, this period of calm was short-lived by the constant attacks of anti-Semitism and periodic outbreaks of violence against the Jewish community. The Jews of Prague...
So, like, blood libel and stuff is also used under that term. It sounds like jewelry. 42 Wallaby Way. What did I say? 23 or something, right? Yeah, I don't actually remember the one that Dory says. That was P. Sherman, and it's Wallaby Way, Sydney. I didn't remember the numbers. That's 42.
Were then confined to a ghetto, subject to restrictive laws and often faced false accusations, in particular the infamous blood libel. The blood libels were baseless rumors used by Christians to accuse the Jewish people of killing innocent Christian children and using their blood for the creation of matzah, a common food consumed by Jews during the high holiday of Passover, the story that commemorates the story of the Exodus from the Old Testament. It was against this backdrop of fear and oppression that the legend of the Golem emerged.
Isn't that insane? Let's look at Prague real quick before we get too far. We're still in Australia, but we're going to go to Europe. And we're going to go, not to the Owl Mountain. We're going to Prague. We'll go to the Owl Mountain later. Okay, so this is the city of Prague. It's pretty expansive. It's a huge city, really. Like, see it numbered. Prague 6, Prague 5, 9. It's expansive. It's a massive city. But right down here in the riverfront, in what we call Old Town, was the Jewish ghetto. It's not a ghetto anymore, but you can see how it was set up like a ghetto. Like, this is the synagogue where, this is the room where it happened, I guess you'd say. Is this inside? Yeah, this is the synagogue. The old, it's called the Old New Synagogue, or New Old Synagogue. I can't remember. They mention the name of it in a minute.
A renowned scholar and mystic, is said to have created the Golem in order to protect his people against the anti-Semitic attacks. A silent guardian who could watch over the Jewish ghetto during the day and at night, making sure the people would be able to go about their normal lives. The creation of the Golem was a complex ritual steeped in Jewish mysticism, only known to few, as the power would be too strong for normal people to handle. According to legend, Rabbi Lowe, along with his son-in-law and his top student, performed the ritual on the banks of the Vlatva River. As night fell, they began forming a human mold with clay and mud. The process was simple, but not known unless you are of high knowledge and well-versed in the Kabbalah. First, the rabbi and his two followers fashioned the body from clay, carefully molding it into a human form. This act in itself was seen as an emulation of God's creation of Adam from the earth. In the Jewish Torah or Bible, it is said that Adam, the first human created, was also formed from soil or earth, and that's where the name comes from. Adam, in Hebrew, means soil, earth. As the rabbi and his followers worked...
I did not know that about the word Adam. That's interesting. I didn't know it meant soil.
Recited the incantations.
My name's Soil. I'm gonna tell everybody that I meet this name's Adam that they are soil. Oh, hi Samantha. Good to see you, babe.
In the Sefer Yetzirah, Book of Creation, a fundamental text in Kabbalistic literature describing how God created the universe. Once the clay form was complete, Rabbi Lowe chiseled the Hebrew word emet, meaning truth, on the Golem's forehead. The word was crucial to the Golem's creation as it represented the truth that this creature exists and that the power of God was now flowing through him. In Kabbalistic teaching, emet, or truth, is considered one of the many names of God, embodying the concept of absolute truth. The final step was to place a shem, a piece of...
Every time I see the reconstructions of him, it's always got these big cracks on the front of it, and I kind of wonder about that. Because he's supposed to be pretty invincible from what I understand. Adam can mean earth. Yeah, but let's call it people named Adam Soil, though. That's such a cool name, Soil. Actually, there's a band I used to like called Soil. I had a couple of songs I liked anyway. Fun fact, I worked in the Czech Republic in 2001, 2002, and presumably 2003. But all I ever saw in Prague was the bus station. Did you go to the synagogue when you were there? If you did, you got to tell me about it because I'm super interested in this folklore. I looked for the statue. It used to be the statue of the Golem. Used to be right here. Swing it around. Right here in the Old Town Square, right by the statue. It used to stand, like in this area. But it's gone now. It must have walked away. There's another Golem statue. Not quite as cool, though. It's down. Where is it? There it is. It's down here. And it doesn't really look as interesting, but it's right there in the corner. It's not even, I don't know if you call it a statue. It's like a boss relief of the Golem. And it's kind of crude looking, but it's an art piece. And it's supposed to look like it's made out of clay, so it makes sense that it'd be crude looking. It's just the other one, the other statue that was built actually looked like this. That's what this is based on, I'm assuming, this piece of art.
Of parchment with God's ineffable name in the golem's mouth, or in some versions under its tongue. This act was akin to giving the golem a soul, or a life force, in Judaism referred to as a neshama. As the shem was placed, the clay figure began to glow with an inner light. Its eyes opened and it rose to its feet, ready to serve its creators and protect the Jewish community. They even gave the golem a name, Yosele, or Yosef for short. The golem's primary purpose was to protect the Jewish community from anti-Semitic attacks and blood libel accusations. It would patrol the streets of the Jewish ghetto at night, using its immense strength to apprehend or scare off attackers. Its mere presence was often enough to deter violence, as rumors of its existence spread fear among those who targeted the Jewish community.
And I understand that this was a bit of an inspiration to Mary Shelley.
Truth, emit.
Why was the word emet carved onto the golem's forehead, and why was it such a crucial part to the creation of the clay guardian? The Hebrew word emet means truth, like we discussed previously, and this word holds profound significance in Jewish mysticism as well as the creation of the world. Composed of the letters Aleph, Mem, and Taf.
It has, thematically anyway, it's a lot like Frankenstein. It's like you create a being without a soul is the issue. We'll get there though.
The first, middle, and last letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Emet symbolizes completeness and totality. It is said that in the book of creation, that God used the 22 letters of the alphabet to create the world. And so the beginning being Aleph, the middle of creation being Mem, and the final stage of creation Taf. Gematria is the practice of assigning letters to numerical values. This in turn creates sacred words and hidden meanings to those who learn the Torah.
Like ancient numerology. Ancient Torah numerology, huh?
And the mysticism behind Judaism. The numerical value of the word emet is Taf equaling 400, Mem equaling 40, and Aleph equaling 1, which can be interpreted in two forms. The first form is 144, which is the gematria for judgment. The second form is 441, equivalent to the phrase, the Lord God is truth. Kabbalistic teachings view emet as the foundation of creation, validating existence.
Yeah, I was understanding that emet just meant truth, yeah, like what he has up here. I guess he's explaining why it means
and
truth.
Our role that we must do in the truth that was given to the Jewish people.
Numerologically, why emet means truth, because of their numerology.
Emet extends beyond metaphysics into ethics, calling humanity to emulate divine truth. This is a concept that is heavily believed, which is our strive to emulate and be in the image of God. It's believed that God continuously sustains the world through truth, and if withdrawn, existence would cease. So to do so, the
Isn't that so out of character? I'm like all gothed out like Morticia Adams, and I'm all of a sudden I'm like, because I'm a goofball. A goth can be a goofball, right? Got this choker on, got my rings. I guess I could have wore some bracelets. My bracelets are mostly like spiky stuff. Ooh, I do have that one bracelet though. The beaded one. Where is that? I could put that one on. We'll let the golem guy
Jewish
talk.
people must uphold the laws and truth that God gave them through the Torah, or God would lose faith in his people. In the Golem legend, inscribing Emet on the creature's forehead imbued it with an essence of reality and divine creative power, the same power that God used to create existence. The word Emet represents not only the fact of God's will to be true, but the very fabric of existence, divine nature, and ethical imperative in Jewish mystical thought.
Power.
According to various legends, the Golem possessed several supernatural abilities. It had superhuman strength, able to easily overpower multiple attackers. Some stories suggest it could become invisible, which was how the Golem would find suspects, spreading false rumors of the bloodline. Certain tales, the Golem had the power to communicate with and summon the spirits of...
Yeah, it's like a method to keep people from talking shit about you. Be like, yeah, I got an invisible golem spying on you, bro. You don't want that kind of smoke.
the dead, adding an extra layer of mystical protection to the ghetto. Golem was said to be impervious to conventional weapons, its clay body immune to swords and arrows, and while it couldn't speak, it could understand and carry out complex instructions given by its creator. But this wasn't always the interpretation of the Golem. Other iterations of the Golem described it as unable to fully understand commands it was given, and would take the extreme.
Yeah, I kind of felt like a failure not wearing, like, doing the goth thing and not wearing any kind of bracelets, wearing rings and necklaces but no bracelets. Absolute failure. But like I said, all my bracelets are spiked bracelets, except for my beaded one, and I can't find it. This one's even kind of spiked. It's studded, you know.
Of the request.
Golem's kryptonite.
However, the Golem's power was difficult to control. This raised ethical and practical challenges. Some stories tell of the Golem going on a rampage, destroying property and harming innocent people. It is believed by some that the tales of the Golem going on a rampage often serve as a cautionary element, highlighting the dangers of creating life and wielding power beyond human understanding.
Yeah,
One
like
famous
Frankenstein
story illustrates the potential for misunderstanding and chaos that the Golem
And I did
cause.
just watch Creature Commandos this week too, which is kind of ironic because the Frankenstein story that's told in there shares a lot of elements like this too. It's a basic Frankenstein story, but it starts with the creation of the bride because she's one of the commandos. Anyway, it has a lot of elements that are similar to this, the way the Frankenstein character behaves and goes on rampages and stuff.
The Golem was instructed to bring water from a well to help with household chores. However, it took the command literally and continued to bring water without stopping, nearly flooding the entire house. In another tale, the Golem was commanded to cut the trees of the forest for wood, which would be used by the Jewish community. A simple command like this was taken out of proportion when people returned they had found only stumps of trees from an entire forest. It's funny that even though my Jewish family comes far away from any European Jewish ancestry, my mother would still tell me as a kid to not act like a Golem. For example, don't be a
Why are you giving him the Golem menial tasks to do? No, I worked out of Brno, lived about 50 kilometers south of, assuming that's pronounced Brno, 7 kilometers from the Austrian border. Okay, so you were, all right, in a tiny village of about 1,200 people. But I did visit the crypt of the Capuchin monks, saw natural mummies and the pest victims. A young girl, 17 years old, who was buried alive during the mid-1700 plagues. The contorted fingers, the horror on her face, I'll never forget. That's all. Oh my gosh, that's disturbing. Thought you had to give it a scroll. Writing on the head invites thoughts of revelation and marks on the head there. There's a little like slip of paper or something they stick in its mouth or under its tongue, maybe.
The imagery of a mythological creature is still very much alive within the Jewish people even today. The Golem's actions and creation itself raised ethical questions within the Jewish community. While it protected them from external threats, its use of force and fear instilled in others made many Jewish people from the community feel uncomfortable. Debates between the Jewish scholars and the community about whether creating such a being was permissible under Jewish law and whether relying on it for protection showed a possible lack of faith in divine providence. Realizing the potential dangers and uneasiness...
Well, if God gave you the ability to make the Golem come to life because he created everything, then I think he's okay with it. I think he's okay with it. I really do.
Community, Rabbi Lowe eventually decided to deactivate the golem. There are different tellings of the downfall of the golem. In other versions of the tale, the rabbi tricked the golem into leaning down so he could reach his forehead and erase the first letter. When erasing Aleph of Emet, changing the word to Met,
I've chopped wood too, Purple. Yep, I agree. I didn't even have an axe to chop wood. I had an axe head and a sledgehammer. And it is exhausting. After my ex-father-in-law passed away, we all came out and chopped wood for my mother-in-law for the first winter.
literally means dead in Hebrew. This linguistic play also highlights the power of words and letters in Jewish mysticism. Once the word was changed, the golem fell lifelessly on the floor. Another version suggests that the rabbi performed a reversal of the creation ritual. After the golem was running rampant across the town, the rabbi carefully removed the divine name from the golem's mouth, when it was distracted destroying the nearby town. As the Shem was withdrawn and the light faded from the golem's eyes...
So while it was distracted destroying the town, he was able to reach into its mouth? Interesting, but okay.
And returned it to its original state of lifeless clay. Other versions also depict that the Emperor Rudolf II pleaded with the rabbi to deactivate the golem after the destruction and defeat of those who were against the Jewish people. The deactivated golem was then stored in the attic of the old New Jewish Synagogue in Prague, and it was locked away.
Old New. I didn't know if it was New Old or Old New. Yeah, Old New Jewish Synagogue in Prague. That's the one we just looked at. It's still standing. And the golem presumably is still in the attic.
So no one would be able to reactivate the golem again. Legend has it that the body...
It looks like the Ginger Dead Man here. I don't know if you've ever seen those cheesy B horror movies, the Ginger Dead Man, but he looks a lot like this. I guess I should say he looks like a golem more than this looks like him, because he came first, but... Or the golem came first.
Remains there to this day, hidden under a pile of old prayer shawls, waiting to be reawakened if the Jewish people ever faced a threat so dire that they needed protection once again. Strangely enough, during World War II, when the Nazis occupied Prague, it said that they never entered the attic of the old new synagogue, possibly from the divine and mystical presence of the golem. This
That
detail
ladder's
is
still there too. Check this out. Boink, boink, boink. Yeah. I didn't mean to come down here. I wanted to go down. Yeah, there you go. There's the weird little ladder. The Star of David's not on the door anymore, though. I don't think. Let me see. Get a better angle on it. No. Oh, yeah, it is. It is. Look, the star's still on there and everything. You have the ladder that goes up all wonky. I noticed that when I was like exploring the building the other day while I was researching for this video, and I was like, that ladder goes like a ladder on a tree house. It's kind of cool. There's right across the street's a Chanel. God, let's see. This would be a fun little trip. We could go here and see the golem and do some shopping. Let's plan a Hive outing to Pinko. And while we're there, we'll try to see if we can't get up in this attic and find that golem and write Emet on its head so we can wake it up. And it can start killing Nazis like G.I. Robot.
Another layer to the legend suggesting that even in its dormant state, the golem continued to protect the Jewish people. In other religious and cultural contexts, the golem concept finds its way into the tellings of many legends. In Islamic tradition, there are stories of Al-Jazari's automatons, intricate machines created in the 12th century that some view as precursors to modern robotics. Christianity, although does not have a direct equivalent of the golem, mentions statues coming to life.
I love old-timey automatons like the Mechanical Turk is so cool. Mechanical Turk is kind of a golem in and of itself in a way. But they claimed that it was like artificial intelligence. But this was like at the time like Benjamin Franklin. We're talking like late 18th, early 19th century. Maybe we could cover the Mechanical Turk at some time. It was I guess it would be what would be considered a hoax. Yeah, maybe I can add that to the polls.
A protector of God's children. In Hindu mythology, the story of Ganesha's creation bears some resemblance to the Golem tale, with the goddess Parvati forming a being from clay and bringing it to life. In Jewish mystical thought, the Golem represents the raw potential of creation, the state of matter before it's given form and purpose. In Judaism, the belief is that through the teachings of the Torah, one can find that purpose. They can also find that meaning and the truth. This is similar to the Golem, who was a lifeless mold of clay, that only until he was given the holy words did he come to life and serve the Jewish people. The Golem was more than just a myth. It's a reflection of the Jewish people's deepest hopes, fears, and the eternal human drive to create and protect.
He's
a tale as old as
too, though.
Time in the eyes of the Jews of Europe, and one that unfortunately just a few decades later would sink into the darkness that even the Golem could not help them with. We hope you enjoyed this video on the Golem, and we encourage you to subscribe, turn on the notifications, and become a member to help support our channel. It goes a long way to assist us in making new videos. We'll see you guys on the next safari. Goodbye.
Yeah, and that one was shorter, but I liked the production better. Is the legend of the Golem
Before
true?
Superman or Batman, before Magneto or Kitty Pryde, there was the Golem. Half superhero, half monster, the Golem is a creature from Jewish legend, unformed and soulless, existing only to obey. A hulking strongman who caters to his creator's every whim, from running errands to destroying enemies. But legends exist for a reason, and fanciful as it sounds, the Golem has a lot to teach us about Jewish history, Jewish anxieties, and Jewish fantasies. So let's unpack this mythical monster. What exactly is the Golem, and why does his legend exist?
There should make a comic book about the Golem. I'd read it. I'd be like, hell yeah. Doesn't Prague have an automaton clock that puts on a show every hour? I did not know about that. So why didn't someone reactivate the Golem when the Nazis came to town? That's a good question. That would be a good plot for a comic book. Or a movie. Like, it could actually be like people, like someone working to reactivate the Golem and somebody else trying to stop them, and the whole movie could be the question of whether or not the Golem is actually going to come to life. That'd be cool.
Jewish history is littered with golems, starting with the first man, Adam. The book of Genesis even gives us the recipe. Mix 1 part earth with 1 part breath of life, and bada bing bada boom. God made the first human. But pay close attention, because it's that breath of life, that animating spark, that makes Adam human. Without it, he's just a humanoid figure made of soil, or as the Talmud puts it, a golem. Hebrew for something shapeless.
They use the word soil here too, instead of earth, which is fine. I like I said, I like soil. I like the term soil. It just sounds, soil actually sounds like more metal than earth. But the problem is, a lot of people think like soil, like you soil yourself, like shitting your pants. When you use the term soil.
Formed. It's only when God breathes life into Adam that he becomes a man. So a golem, by definition, doesn't have a soul, which might explain why some rabbis felt no compunction about creating golems for their personal use. The Talmudic sage Rava made one to carry messages to a fellow rabbi. Convenient, but kind of a fail, because his golem didn't speak. Rabbi Hanina and Rabbi Oshaya went a step further, creating a cow-shaped golem-like creature for every Shabbat dinner. To be clear, they ate it. Apparently it was delicious. The medieval poet...
Eating cow golems, they're good. Yeah, they're delicious. Allegedly.
Shlomo ibn Gvirol is said to have created a golem to take care of his household chores, which honestly is a great way to outsource cleaning your room. That's right, the OG robot vacuum. The early 19th century rabbi David Jaffe supposedly created a golem to act as a Shabbos goy, stoking the town's communal ovens on Shabbat when Jews are forbidden from cooking or creating fire. You get it, golems, they're everywhere. But by far the most famous golem is the Golem of Prague. And this is where our story gets juicy. Because so far we've talked about golems created for convenience. carrying messages, cleaning.
This one's created for war.
Taking care of work you can't or don't want to do, it's easy to see why these legends developed. Until the 20th century, life was pretty difficult for the average person. They had no cell phones to convey messages instantly, no grocery delivery, no robot vacuums. You want your laundry done? Have fun spending all day scrubbing your clothes on the river. You want to send a message to someone across town? Be prepared to schlep. The Golem was a sort of wish fulfillment, a fantasy of an easier life. Instacart, TaskRabbit, and Gmail all wrapped up into one hulking package. And the Golem of Prague was no different.
I like the idea of having him to like a personal robot, sure.
Wish he fulfilled was a lot more urgent. Because unlike the other golems we've discussed so far, the Golem of Prague was created to protect. 16th century Prague was not a fun place to be a Jew. The good Christians of Prague genuinely believed that their Jewish neighbors were kidnapping Christian children, draining their blood, and using it for ritualistic purposes. By the way, that lie is called a blood libel, and it's among the most dangerous anti-Semitic tropes in history. Angry mobs frequently overran the ghetto, burning and looting everything in their path. The Jewish community was desperate for relief, and it was up to their leader, Rabbi Judah Lo ben Betzalel, to come up with a plan. Rabbi Lo, also known as the Maharal, was a wise and holy man whose scholarship profoundly shaped Jewish thought. But his most famous work isn't a book of philosophy or commentary. It's a hulking, earthen, soulless mass gathered from the banks of the Vltava River.
I think this is all from that same like old-timey movie, because if you look at the picture in the background here, it's the same one with the weird bowl cut. I don't like the depiction of the Golem with a bowl cut, but like, I mean, what am I going to do about it? My earbud fell out.
A humanoid lunk brought to life by a single Hebrew word scrawled on its forehead. Emet, truth. Rub out the first letter and Emet becomes Met, death. This was the Golem's off switch. The Maharal could activate or deactivate him at will. When he was on, the Golem served one purpose, protecting the Jewish community. And when he was off, his eyes closed, his body stilled, and it was as though he were dead. According to one version of the legend, the Maharal called him Yosele, an affectionate nickname for Joseph. The rabbi made sure to turn
Joseph. Hell yeah.
Yosele off every Shabbat. I guess even golems need rest. Yosele was plenty busy during the week holding off anti-Semitic mobs. For a decade, he protected the Jewish community. And for a decade, the Jewish community thrived. Now at this point in the tale, it's probably pretty obvious why the legend of the Golem has such staying power. The Jewish people have not, historically, had an easy time of it. For 2,000 years.
Yeah, it's a giant monster guardian of your people. Hell yeah.
Years we had no country, no army, no institutional power. Our power lay in education, in our traditions, in our continued existence. So the Golem is part wish fulfillment and part revenge fantasy, representing the raw power that we simply lacked. This Golem did more than just run errands. He protected us. He made us feel powerful and strong. For persecuted people, that's not nothing. That's comfort. But no fairy tale would be
complete.
Yeah,
but you probably shouldn't be having him kill people either, though. I mean, give him like the Batman one rule, you know? Otherwise, you've just created a kill bot. And if you created a kill bot, well, I think kill bots in general are a bad idea. There's several movie series and television shows about why kill bots are a bad idea.
Without a lesson. Stories, after all, are how we learn, how we transmit ideas and values to our kids. Little Red Riding Hood, The Three Little Pigs, even Snow White, they all boil down to don't trust strangers. Jewish fairy tales are no different, except the lesson of the Golem is a little more abstract. Because the tragic coda to Yosele's story is this. One Friday evening, the Maharal forgot to lay his Golem to rest. Deprived of his weekly 25-hour nap, Yosele turned violent. He cut a path of destruction throughout Prague. Some say his violence stemmed from a passionate, unrequited love. Others are less fanciful, detailing only the ways in which he
can a Golem feel love?
Desecrated Shabbat. Whatever the reason, Yosele was no longer the faithful protector of the Jewish ghetto. He was a menace, and the Maharal knew what he had to do. Somehow he managed to reach Yosele, rubbing out the first letter on his forehead.
It's his fault if he forgot to like let him rest. If he has like, if there's this built-in like override system that makes him go berserk when he doesn't get his rest. You need to make sure you put him to rest. Not something you can forget.
The golem dropped, just a lump of clay once more. The Maharal wrapped him in a talit, a Jewish prayer shawl, and stored his body in the attic of the synagogue. No one was to visit, he warned. This was the end result of unchecked power. This is what happened when humans played God. The lesson tracks, because Jews have an uneasy relationship to power. By the time the golem showed up, power was an unfamiliar rush, one to be treated with caution. Spider-Man's uncle may have coined the phrase, "With great power comes great responsibility." But the idea isn't new, and it's reflected in the tragic story of Yosele. So the Maharal...
You would think so, Ninjester. Do cow golems satisfy the vegan option? Good morning, Maya. The breath was the soul. He's thinking spirit. Killbot is only bad idea if I don't control it. So if I hit the golem on the forehead with a paintball, it would deactivate it. You could try.
Stowed his creation away in the attic with a strict warning. No one was to wake the golem unless he was desperately needed. When the time came, there was no golem to wake, because the golem had never actually existed. There was no Yosele to stand between Prague's Jewish community and the boxcars that hauled them to Theresienstadt and later to Auschwitz. In 1939, 56,000 Jews lived in Prague. By mid-1945, fewer than 10,000 remained. Like all fairy tales, the story of the golem isn't original. Every culture has its Prometheus, its Frankenstein, its killer robots. And hey, if some sci-fi writer isn't making the connection between AI and the golem, well, you're welcome for the free idea. Because every culture has its anxieties and fantasies and warnings. In Frankenstein, the monster is a stand-in for the Industrial Revolution. In Jewish legend, he's a symbol of our painful relationship to power, a cautionary tale about what happens when humans play God. And like the best fairy tales, he continues to evolve. He's the bear Jew in Inglourious Bastards, meting out his vicious justice with the business end of a baseball bat. In case you haven't seen it, the bear Jew beats Nazis to death. He's a creepy little boy in the 2018 horror film, The Golem. He's the basis for novels and comics and episodes of The Simpsons and The X-Files and Supernatural. Each take reflects a new facet of the Golem myth, because the stories we tell are a mirror, reflecting our fears and desires in equal measure.
I never thought about, hold on, what was it?
The X-Files and Supernatural. Each take reflects a new facet of the Golem myth.
Oh yeah, the Terminator as associated with the Golem, but that's really interesting. All right. Well, that was our momentary exploration of the world of Kabbalah. What do you all think? Is there a golem stuffed in this attic here, hidden away, that climbs up and down this ladder to protect the Jewish people of this city? Is that a thing? Let me know in the comments down below. Tell me how you feel about this topic. Tell me if you're sad that the golem statue that stood right here is gone now, because it was really cool looking. I really liked it. And it's gone. And it makes me sad. So if anybody knows where it went, let me know. I would love to come down on Google Earth and see it. But it no longer stands in this courtyard of this city here on this continent. Yeah. So please remember to be kind. Take care, and we'll see you next time. All right. Don't go anywhere. We are still, we're on the last half an hour of the show, but there's still more show to come. So if you want to hang out and talk about Wolverines with me, let's do it. All right, but I'm going to take a break because I do have to pee at this point, and I'll see you in a little bit.
And I say, so what you're telling me is if I blow a hurricane through a junkyard enough times, over billions and billions of years, eventually after one of those hurricanes, there'll be a 747 fully loaded and ready to fly.
What he's talking about, one of the things he's talking about biology here, in which case we're talking about like niche vacuums. So the tornado is the extinction event, right? The tornado comes through and wipes everything out. And then life starts to come back. So it's the space between the tornadoes that creates the new life. And at some point, one of those tornadoes came through and it wiped out some giant archosaurs, right? And this allowed these little scampering, warm-blooded mammals to have a chance. Tornado came through this little junkyard. These little tiny primates were able to start propagating and expanding and their ranges and moving into new niches and becoming more successful. Eventually, these little monkey guys even started to create their own technology, and that happened so fast. And eventually, they started taking aspects of other organisms on the earth and trying to emulate them, like flight. So then they built machines that could fly, and eventually they invented this 747 or whatever that he's talking about here. So this tornado, which the last big tornado I guess would be the KPG extinction event, did come through our junkyard. The myriad of life on Earth, it did blast right through that junkyard. What was it, like 65% or something like that of life on Earth, where the iridium layer is, right, where we can see on one side and on the other. So that iridium layer represents when the tornado came through. So the tornado came through the junkyard, and then as the organisms started to recover from that, and our little monkey hands started to want to build technology to fly, boom, the tornado in the junkyard did come through, and boom, we have 747s now. So yes, Ben Carson is right here. What happened, as long as we understand the metaphor, right? In the metaphor, the tornado is the extinction event, Earth is the junkyard, and the 747 is the result of the tornado coming through, wiping out the organisms that couldn't build 747s, and then letting the organisms that could propagate. All right. Welcome to Bree's Bestiary, the final little segment on Live from the Hive every Saturday morning. And if you want to join us live from the Hive, all you gotta do is be here at 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, or 8:30 my time out here in the West. Regardless, you're here now. So, what do we do on this segment? Well, this is the segment that I pick. While the other two segments of Live from the Hive, you get to vote on out there in the polls on the community page. This segment is picked by me because it's Bree's Bestiary, not the Hive's Bestiary in this case. So I'm picking what we cover, and I've been, I was on a kick for, man-eaters. Did like a whole summer man-eaters thing that rolled into the autumn or whatever. Kind of moved away from that now since Christmas, because we did the Christmas cardinals, and then last week we did the wood frog. But this animal that we're talking about today is not in any it'll probably get a man if it was given an opportunity, but it's not something that's generally considered a man-eater. The channel that we're looking at is called Animal Instinct. It's my first experience with them, but I like that they have grasshopper mouths, getting some spotlight. We need to talk about the grasshopper mouths at some point too, but I think next week we're talking about a NERPA. So if you don't know what a NERPA is, you're gonna find out. NERPA. That's what we're gonna be covering. But this channel is pretty active still, as you can see. And how long has it been around? Been making content for about 3 years now. And a good thing is, it doesn't seem like, at least the videos are not AI. I'm always suspicious of the voices, but All right. So what we're covering today is Wolverines. Wolverines are one of the largest members of the mustelid families and are the biggest member of the weasel family in North America. They live in Canada and down through the Rockies a little bit, and they live across Siberia and into like Norway. They're absolute units of an animal, but I found this channel's kind of funny with their presentation, so we'll give them a shot.
Ferocious and dangerous animals, most involuntarily think of bears, lions, sharks, crocodiles, and other large representatives of wildlife. But few people know that real ferocity does not depend on size or teeth or sharp claws. And very soon you will see this.
Oh my gosh.
After all, the hero of today's episode, despite his modest height and weight, is always ready for desperate battles with any opponent. He doesn't care that the target is 5 times larger. He's not afraid of wolves or bears.
People get caught up on a honey badger, but this mofo right here takes down caribou and moose.
You're on the Animal Instinct channel, and today we'll talk about the fearless relatives of the honey badger Wolverine.
More weasels. See, I vote that we rename the Wolverine the most weasel, since we have the least weasel, which is little bitty guy about that size. And the Wolverine could be the most weasel, because it's the absolute most weasel available.
Damn bear, demon of the north, glutton skunk bear, as they call our today's hero. Wolverine has a rather awkward shape and looks like a cross between a dog, a badger, and a bear. It's like a smaller copy of a bear, only with a long tail. Some northern people...
I think it looks like a weasel on steroids myself. Like maybe a cross between a weasel and a badger, but bigger than both. Or maybe a cross between a weasel and a bear would be a good comparison.
Even had a belief that once every few years a brown bear's cubs did not grow to the required size, remained small, and left their mother, wandering alone. The Wolverine is not distinguished by its grace and slenderness, and can only move with small leaps on its sides, is clubbed and stooped. Its movements look clumsy and sloppy, and it seems that the animal...
It does the weasel walk. Do-do, 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 do-do. It's effective. These motherfuckers are everywhere. And when they are introduced to an environment where they're not, they tend to dominate it. Weasels are boss. That's why I hang out with weasels all the time. When was the last time you saw me hang out with a weasel? It's been a few weeks. I have to wait to get invited to hang out with the weasel.
Cannot cause much harm to anyone. In addition, Wolverine has a rather cute face, but as you and I all know, appearances are deceiving, and the Wolverine has almost limitless capabilities.
If not friend, then why friend shape? Did you see that tumble? Watch that again.
Appearances are deceiving, and the Wolverine has almost limitless capabilities.
The bird dives.
And at this appearances are deceiving, and the Wolverine has almost limitless capabilities, and at the same time keeps the entire...
That's panda level agility, spatial awareness. The bird wants to come get me, it's going to get my Wolverine claws.
Entire North in fear. By the standards of northern warriors, this is a very small animal, only 3.5 feet in length and weighing up to 45 pounds. But what Wolverine definitely doesn't need is courage. She can easily fight for food with much larger and more dangerous predators and often gets her way. But first things first. Wolverine looks like a badger that just left the gym. A strong, powerful, stocky body, well-developed muscles. The paws
there are similarities to the badger. I think it's more convergent evolution than direct relation. I mean, badgers are cousins. They are mustelids too. But the Wolverine is... let me pull this up. Go. We're going to look at its phylogeny. The phylogeny of Mustelidae. All right, here we go. Now, most of these phylogeny charts on Wikipedia are like incomplete. As you can see, it skips over like a lot of stuff. But Gulo is the genus. it's not showing our subfamilies, but they're in the same subfamily as weasels. But they're all in Mustelidae. So Mustelidae is a diverse family of carnivoran mammals, including weasels, badgers, otters, polecats, martens, grissons, and wolverines, otherwise known as mustelids. They form the largest family in the suborder Caniformia of the order Carnivora. Caniformia. So carnivore splits into two branches. You got feliforms and you've got caniforms. Now feliforms, you got branching off into, cats, hyenas, civets, a mongoose, things like that. Okay. And then on the other branch, the canines, you have, of course, dogs, you have bears, seals, mustelids, which we're looking at right now, and procyonids are like raccoons and codimundus and stuff like that. But the smaller variant of the least weasel can be under 20 centimeters, while the giant otter of the Amazon gets to 99 pounds. Wolverines can crush bones with as thick as the femur of a moose to get the marrow, and have been seen attempting to drive bears away from their kills. Yeah, so it's just talking about the variety in the family. But these guys it's a family of badasses. The whole mustelid family are just OP, every one of them. And the people make fun of the way they run and stuff, but they will definitely wreck you. We're gonna watch some more.
Very powerful, dense, and disproportionately large. But this is one of the main advantages. In winter, such snowshoes prevent you from falling into the snow and help you catch large and heavy prey. Plus, the paws have sharp, long, and curved claws, almost like the hero of the same name.
Yeah, skunks are like, was it Hess? Is it Hess? No, I'm thinking of, this is mongoose, yeah, Hesperides or whatever, yeah. But they used to include, skunks used to be included in here. But skunks are now, can't remember what their family's called. Why you not letting me search? Oh. Skunks are now in, Mephitidae, which is still closely related to mustelids, but not in mustelid anymore. It's in Musteloidea, though, which is, Musteloidea includes skunks. If you go one step higher into super family, you include skunks in there. And red pandas, because a red panda is also in its own family, which is Alluridae, which means cat-footed. But yeah, skunks have their own grouping too. But they used to put skunks within Mustelidea. Absolutely trill.
They turn the Wolverine's paws into a multifunctional tool that allows them to dig, climb any trees, and even climb down from them upside down. The relationship with the Mustelidid...
My cat can't even do that. I don't have a cat anymore, but yeah, my cats couldn't do that.
...are good, because the Wolverine acquired waterproof fur and can swim well. And although she does not run very fast, only up to 28 miles per hour.
Only up to 28 miles per hour. I mean, come on now. How fast can you run, narrator? I know I don't run. I may run like 10 miles an hour or something like that. Let's see. How fast does an average person run? An average human runs 6 to 9, 10 to 14. 6 to 9 miles per hour, 10 to 14 miles per hour. But how long we can sustain that? But humans can run, like the fastest person in the world runs as fast as a Wolverine. Just put it that way. They run as fast as Usain Bolt.
Very resilient and can pursue prey for a long time. And in deep snow, it has no equal. The demon's main weapon is sharp and powerful teeth, with which the beast bites into its prey and does not let go. The Wolverine's jaws are so powerful that they can crush any bones. But why is this not the King of the North? And the animal's habits are also royal because each animal takes for itself a section of Canada, Alaska, or the Siberian taiga with an area of up to 2,000 square kilometers and protects it from strangers. In the territory of one male, there may be several females with his cubs, but only small ones. As soon as the puppies turn 2 years old, they must leave the territory, otherwise they may become lunch for a hungry dad. To control such open spaces, Wolverines had to become homeless and abandon traditional holes and dens. Every day they walk an average of 13 miles of their property.
So that's an important distinction too. Most mustelids don't actually dig their own dens. Even the weasels, they still steal the dens of their prey, like dens of rodents and rabbits and prairie dogs, especially like polecats. They love living in abandoned prairie dog cities. So do rattlesnakes and gopher tortoises and stuff like that. Prairie dog cities are multicultural. There's a lot of diversity in them. Even though you see it's mostly prairie dogs, there are a lot of other critters creeping and crawling through their little tunnels.
And their main goal is to find food. And her appetite is always excellent. And every day the Wolverine has to eat up to half of its body weight. It's good that it eats absolutely everything: meat, fish, insects, mushrooms, berries, nuts, and much more. For food, she will happily climb a tree and dive into water. She also loves to feast on carrion, which she often finds first thanks to her excellent sense of smell. No wolves or bears stood even close to the Wolverine here. So now you know who the real forest orderly is. But when winter comes, half of the food disappears, and you have to be content with what you have. But then Wolverine activates his superpower of walking on...
Well, Wolverines do put on weight over the summer and fall, just like any other big mammal living up in the north. It's natural for them to gorge themselves before the cold weather hits.
Snow and gets himself any prey. At the same time, a 45-pound animal can easily attack, for example, a deer 5 times its size. Moose can also become its prey, which the animal drives through deep snow and then attacks. It doesn't matter how fast you run, you won't escape the Wolverine. Therefore, it is advantageous for her to live...
Could you imagine being that little guy and eating a whole-ass moose?
Very contiguous areas where she can easily escape danger and catch
That's
up with
a lot
prey.
of fucking
But
Wolverines.
oddly enough,
Holy
the
shit.
animal does not like severe frosts, despite its truly royal winter coat. If there is no good prey, then you can easily recapture it from the wolves. The Wolverine's grin alone is worth it. But if the wolves are young and do not understand who approached them, the Wolverine releases a stream of incredibly smelly secretion and the predator retreats. Well, the relationship with the skunk
That showed a
makes
skunk. Oh, it's going to talk
itself
about
felt. And the predator retreats. Well, the relationship with the skunk makes itself felt. It should be noted that the Wolverine
That's
has...
why they're called skunk bears, because they spray like a skunk. But all mustelids do. Even ferrets do. Most of them, or not most of them, a lot of people have their sick glands removed, which I think is kind of cruel, but, you know, it's just what it is.
excellent abilities to find food under the snow. She is able to smell meat even under a 3-foot layer of snow and quickly dig it up with the help of her huge paws. Having received a well-deserved prey, the Wolverine eats as much as it wants. No wonder they call her a glutton. The jaws, like meat grinders, grind the thickest bones. But even she cannot eat a large...
The poetic language here is so funny. Like the meat grinder. I mean, their jaws, they're powerful. I would compare them to spotted hyena's jaws. That's what, or even a Tasmanian devil's jaws. They're very robust for crushing, or a jaguar. A jaguar is also an animal with really robust jaws for crushing, you know.
Large deer whole. Then the cunning beast turns on its maniac mode and begins to chop the carcass into small and not so small pieces. Then he diligently hides everything in secret places so that he can visit there on cold winter evenings. Wolverine leads a secretive lifestyle and is one of the least studied predators in the world. and it's very hard to even see, let alone film it. And she lives in places where you don't want to take your hands out of your pockets again. Therefore, you understand there is not much material with it, and the
Where did that weird accent all of a sudden it came and left as soon as it was here?
Quality will be appropriate. Let's now see what Wolverine is capable of in action. In the first video, dogs were unleashed on the Wolverine, but something went wrong. The beast immediately took a fighting stance and cooled their ardor. One of the dogs still tried to bite the Wolverine, but look how skillfully she thwarted the attack with one paw. The dogs realized that there was no chance for them here and hurried to return to their owners.
You still shouldn't have your dogs harass wildlife. That's an important thing to not do.
Apparently, they are lowered a second time and the situation repeats itself. Wolverine is ready and does not allow the dogs to get closer. They probably didn't realize how lucky they were. Wolves are very dangerous predators. They are fast, smart, and much larger than Wolverines. In the video, the Wolverine noticed a wolf with food and, of course, fought with him. This will be a tough fight, and
somebody recording their television.
Animals will use their sharp teeth and claws. But Wolverine skillfully grabbed the wolf by the neck and does not allow him to escape. She bites the wolf in the face, which is very unpleasant because
they can tangle with wolves and bears.
The wolf is trying to escape and is already thinking about how to run away. And this despite the fact that it is twice as large. Wolverine has achieved his goal and now eats someone else's prey. The beast is so arrogant that it can take food even from a pack of wolves. Of course, the wolves do not intend to just give up and attack Wolverine. But the beast gives such a tough rebuff that the wolves have no choice but to abandon their prey. And another video in which wolves killed a deer and everything was fine until a Wolverine appeared. She couldn't miss such a carcass. Wolverine, with a leisurely, club-footed gait, approaches his prey, and then rushes at the wolf with lightning speed. The wolves were so dumbfounded that they didn't even try to do anything. The demon of the north chased them like ordinary kittens, and if she was the first to find the prey, she will not give it to anyone. Here's two.
I love it. Look at the wolves. They're like, what the hell? Oh my god! It's coming right at me! And they just took down like a huge ungulate, right? And then this little fur ball comes at them. They're like, ah!
Lucky enough to be the first to get to the carcass, but as usually happens, the gray wolf soon came, who also wanted his share. But the Wolverine desperately defends itself and does not allow the stranger to get close to its prey. One can only envy her courage, but in the north you need to constantly maintain your authority and not let the wolves go down, even if they are without prey. Here too, the Wolverine could not pass by two wolves who were doing something on its territory. A short fight with one wolf, and then the second one came to his aid. But the Wolverine does not give in at all in such a situation, and repels the attacks of the predator, attacking at the same time.
Wolves using their group tactics.
Wolves realized that it was better to retreat and went away from this lawless man. For this animal, a lone wolf is no problem. Look how he runs away from Wolverine, so much so that only his heels sparkle, and the gray one doesn't even think about stopping. After this, it becomes clear that smaller animals, like coyotes, do not pose any danger to the Wolverine. You can calmly drive them away and take the loot for yourself, which is exactly what Wolverine did. And the fox also knows what kind of animal it is, so they try not to come close to it, even though there are
I don't blame you, Mr. Fox.
Many of them. And the Wolverine is alone. Well, right. Suddenly she wants a fox collar for her fur coat. And even badgers also sometimes fall under the disfavor of this beast. The badger is not aggressive.
Seems like the video clips aren't quite lining up with the audio part, though.
And usually prefers
he starts talking about the... he keeps talking about the previous section before when the clips are for the next section.
Hide in holes or stumps. This badger was lucky, because the Wolverine beat him up quite a bit. Probably realized that he was a relative, and it all turned out somehow awkward.
Now it's talking about the badger still, and we're on the mountain lion on the video.
And this is a cougar, a mountain lion, and she caught the prey. But Wolverine is right there. It will probably start now. But
yeah, the narrator's cadence is super bizarre. That's why I thought this video was funny.
Enough. A few seconds were enough for the Wolverine to take away the puma's prey and even drive it away. I didn't think that the cougar would give up so easily. despite its small size.
Cats don't like to fight other predators, even big cats. Like, unless maybe if you're talking about lions, they like to fight other lions. But cats are delicate. They have very delicate tools to kill with. Their claws are very. They don't want to injure. They don't want to get a foot injury. You know, they swat at you and you swat at a hyena and it bites their paw. That's a paw they can no longer use to catch food. And most cats are solitary, so they're like, no, I don't want to fight with this guy. Like if the cougar swipes at this this Wolverine, and it bites her paw, she's done. She's a very good chance she's gonna die, especially in the middle of winter. So not fighting with the Wolverine is in her best interest.
The Wolverine is very strong and can even hunt adult deer. The beast simply grabs its prey by the neck and holds it. The deer tries with all his might to throw off the Wolverine, and now he succeeds. But the hunter makes a second jump, and he is again on the neck. The deer manages to throw off the Wolverine several more times, but she attacks again and again. In the end, the exhausted deer falls into the snow. In summer, it is more difficult to hunt, since there's no snow and it is harder for the Wolverine to catch up with prey. But its caution and endurance allow it to achieve results. Today, this small fawn became her prey. But it's not enough to find prey. You also need to keep it, and sometimes other Wolverines claim it. In this case, a fight cannot be avoided. Animals go to great lengths to get food, and often such fights end in injury. But today, the owner managed to defend the prey, and he returns to continue the meal. Wolverine...
I love their big giant feet. Their big giant feet are the best part. Same thing with Canadian lynx. The big giant... Their feet are as big as my hands, but they're only the size of Henry. It's like a Henry-sized animal with feet as big as my hands because they walk in the snow. I love it.
Is not even afraid of bears, despite the fact that they are several times heavier. And here she drove the brown bear up a tree and climbed up herself. Soon the bear followed, only the Wolverine did not calm down and went on the attack again. Misha even stands on his hind legs.
That's not a brown bear, that's a black bear.
To make himself appear bigger, but this is not at all scary. Wolverine even tries to attack his opponent, and soon she gets her way. The bear retreats into the forest, but she knows how to quickly...
Brown bears, you can usually tell because they have a hump shoulder. You can also tell by the shape of their skull, but describing, medical myths. I need to set my redirect to that. Oh. Medical myths. There we are. I'm going to make sure I do the right one, because sometimes I send people to the vertical one, but it doesn't show the whole. Oh, that's the vertical one. See, as soon as I click on it, the first one's always the wrong one. So we do that one. There we go. This will redirect y'all right over there now as soon as the Wolverine's done.
Assess her strengths, and here the advantage is clearly not in her favor. Although a pork carcass is a tasty morsel, 2 huge bears can easily turn a Wolverine into a chop. Therefore, it is better to keep your distance. And this is footage of Wolverine's secret training in which she learns to deal with her...
That's a brown bear.
...enemies. And even if it's just a big cabbage, this is how skills are developed. Well, friends, how do you like the northern relative of the honey badger?
Get that
I
cabbage.
think he fits in perfectly with his mustache.
You show that cabbage who's boss, sweetie.
Liday family? Write in the comments what you think about it. Then do not be lazy to rate the video, write comments about whom to tell next time, subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to turn on alerts. And I'm saying goodbye to you for a while. For now.
Such a weird cadence. You're absolutely right. And it's a lot of misinformation. Most of it was good information, but there was like calling the black bear a brown bear and stuff like that. And it's not. They are adorable, though. That's what I would say. I said for the most part, they look like a cross between a weasel and a bear. I think that's a good assessment. Weasel bear. They said earlier in the video that it eats like a quarter of its body weight in one setting. So yeah, it takes a lot more fuel to keep something going in a cold system. But yeah, that was the Wolverine from Bree's Bestiary, the biggest member of the mustelid family, or I guess biggest terrestrial member of the mustelid family would be a better thing to say, because otters are in this group too. But I digress. It's a big old creature, a big old animal, and very vicious. All right. So thank you for joining us. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time. All right. Live from the Hive crew. Stick around, and it'll direct you right over to Medical Myths with Dr. Ben. And I made sure it wasn't the vertical one this time. But I'm going to go have my day now. I appreciate everybody for coming and hanging out with me. And it's been a pleasant morning. I always love a peaceful episode where we all just hang out and talk about silliness. I did bring up some hometown drama stuff at the beginning of the show, just to kind of frame my my current condition. But yeah, all right. Much love. I will see you all next Saturday, I'm sure. Right? You'll be here with me next Saturday. Remember to be kind and take care. Love y'all. Bye.